On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, the bros are back after their first show off in decades to finally discuss what they thought of the Book of Boba Fett premiere. These two lazy bums will break down the important moments you may have missed, while also providing hints at what may come next in Boba's new story. There's a good chance things will get braggadocious as well, so prepare to listen to some over-the-top gloating. There's a good chance the team will talk about a bunch of random stuff too before they hit the fan segment, which returns with the question of the week responses and a special edition of the top 5, which will be a top 10 to honor the past 2 weeks of artist features. Punch it, Chewie!
Hey now, everybody! Woohoo! The SWTS is back. It's 2022. We gave everyone the double bird last week so we could take the first week off of the year. And I'll tell you what, I needed it, Nick. It was, I mean, don't get me wrong. You're like, this is like a highlight of my week. You know, I get to talk to a like-minded individual about Star Wars, video games, pop culture, all that fun stuff. So, you know, I miss that, and it's not like I have many friends left after all the shit that's gone down these past 2 years, but really the past 6 years or so. So Nick's like the one guy, you know, that's my bro talk for the week. So I did obviously, you know, miss getting that in, but I don't know what it wasn't COVID, at least based on all the fucking tests I've taken over the past 10 days or whatever. But I got hit with something for the first time in almost 2 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, like, yeah, the first illness.
Yeah, and it wasn't,
I
don't, you know, I was like, oh, well, this isn't woe is me, but it had been so long that even having a sore throat and a cough and sniffles is like, fuck, this sucks. Like, I remember how bad this shit used to blow, and it's been so long since I've had it, and now that something's back, it's like, man, I guess I'm all right staying in my house, wearing masks and all that fun stuff. But so I had some of that last week. The cough is still with me, but that was another reason we kind of missed last. We were going to do it last Wednesday if we did anything, but after the premiere of Boba Fett, which, hey, I think we've all come to the understanding that it was I'm going to call it a lackluster premiere. I think some of my initial comments to our Discord, again, we'd love for fans of the show to join our Discord. I'm active in it throughout the week. Remember, Nick retires from socials after Tuesdays, but I get in there with the diehards like Tones and Bat, and you know we were kind of talking after the premiere of Boba, and I think the one theme we had in our Discord was right there. It didn't really have an oh fuck moment, you know what I mean? Like what we've been spoiled with through the Mandalorian. But yeah, we'll get to Boba Fett. Trust me, that's our main topic today. Probably the only topic today.
Only topic. Yeah.
As I was telling Nick before we turned the mics on, I just had like 15 days of living my best life. All right, and that meant kind of turning the iMac off, barely checking socials, not giving two fucks about, oh, they're shooting Acolyte in November. You know, it's like I usually am all caught up in that hysteria throughout the week. So it was nice to kind of turn it off, but it's back to real life. You know, last week is like a dead week for most humans. It really is. Like the week in between Christmas and New Year's, I don't even know why people pretend to go to work and all, because no one's doing shit. That's productive, but we're out of it. The realization that real life is returning is coming back to me, even though I still have this week and next week. But if you're on the live stream, you can look at me. I have lived my best life. I mean, look at my beard. Look at my neck beard. I haven't trimmed or shaved in weeks. My hair, like, not that I have much, but I'm going for the Bozo the Clown look because I haven't got it buzzed. It's like all puffing out on the sides and staying bald on the top. And I probably gained about 15 pounds just eating and drinking a couple beers every night. So today is like it's almost like I'm going to rehab today, Nick. Today's like a detox from the holidays or the 2 weeks that I just kind of let loose. And that's because, little kid's back in school, wife's back to work. So Dad's at home, hanging out in the basement, wearing his Boba Fett hoodie that his mom scored for him for Christmas.
It's a good score. I mean, we talked about how fast those things sold out when they came out. So the fact that she got one,
I felt horrible, man. She's like, "Yeah, I saw you were posting about." I was like, "Well, thanks. I didn't think anyone gave a shit about Star Wars time. That's great that my mother at least looks at it." And she's like, "I stayed up, and as soon as it hit midnight, I got on, and they're all sold out. And then they only had a small. And Heather said you probably wouldn't wear small." And I'm like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" My mantra is small is how we ball. All right. Small is how we ball. That's all I wear. I wear small hoodies, small long sleeve that don't fit, small tees. It doesn't matter. It's got to be small. So yeah, I'm wearing it right now. This is a week straight of wearing the Boba Fett hoodie. I love it. Even the small's like wearing a sleeping bag for someone of a short stature like myself. So I don't know if I'll go out in it, but it's damn comfortable, especially the sleeping bag soft material at the top. So that was probably one of my bigger gets. Hey there, buddy. How was your first day back?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. Do you need something?
No.
No, just saying hi.
Yeah.
See everybody watching us here?
Yeah.
There's Nick, yeah. We're talking about Christmas and Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got something?
I actually want chocolate ice cream.
Oh, you want chocolate ice cream? All right, go ahead. I think you'll have to go out in the garage to get it.
Okay, Daddy.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Her mother's home, by the way, but she knows if she comes to Dad when he's on the desk, he'll say yes to anything. So
Yeah, sure, you can have it.
Gotta love it.
Smart kid.
How about you, man? Any like good gets over Christmas? I know when we broke 2 weeks ago, you're kind of bummed out because of you're gonna have to leave Taylor at home for the holidays, which was shitty. But how did things turn around at all? Did you get like an M60 or anything crazy from your Louisianian family?
No. Lots of gift cards for stuff that we can use around the house. So we'll definitely put those to use. I mean, and that was mainly it, just gift cards and stuff. But it was good to see the family again. It was the first time that I got to see some of my extended family since COVID started happening. So 2 years basically. So it was nice to get to see everybody again. But yeah, I mean, nothing too special. Taylor had a good time by herself, just kind of hanging out. Didn't have to worry about the stress of having parents back in town and stuff like that. So she was able to have a nice, relaxing 5
She didn't have to listen to your dumbass do the Star Wars time show, right?
Exactly. Just a whole house to herself. So that was good. But yeah, I mean, the only things that I really got into was Matrix Resurrection. So I went to see that in Louisiana with a couple of my friends from high school. And then I'm not sure if we talked. I don't think we talked No Way Home before the last show.
Yeah, because you had just seen it, I believe, before we broke, but we didn't really dive into spoilers.
Yeah. So No Way Home, Matrix Resurrections. I've been playing a little bit of Battlefield 2042 just because it's free. Like since I have like the Game Pass Ultimate. I have EA Play, I think is what it's called. But I have like EA's thing is built into it. And you have like a 10-hour free trial of Battlefield 2042. So I've been playing that a little bit. Spoiler alert. It's a buggy mess that has very little content in it. But I mean, I guess if you like, military shooters, then it's something for you to do. But yeah, I mean, that's really been about it for me. Got back in.
What'd you think of Matrix then? Because I've seen it twice at this point. I pussed out and did the home stuff. It was easier. I made it out to the theaters. That's probably where I got sick, to be honest with you. But I did watch it twice at home to just really kind of sit there and study it and consume it. And I'll be honest with you, I quite enjoyed it. I like how it kind of makes fun of itself in the beginning and fun of critics of Matrix in general. The questions it kind of pokes and brings up. I do think some of the stunt scenes are beyond chaotic and poorly shot. I feel like some of the scenes they didn't even grade. It's like someone just recorded on their phone and were like, yeah, just throw in the fucking previs. But overall, I think it, for what it had to do and tell a brand new story about Neo and Trinity while also not completely retconning 1 through 3, I think it did a damn good job. I mean, it incorporated the entire trilogy, so it didn't, I think before they're like, is this like a spiritual reboot? Or they're like, oh, this is the direct sequel of Matrix. And no, it's not. I mean, it fully accounts for Matrix 1, 2, and 3 in the best way they can with what those, movies put out. And I do think it kind of puts it could end on this film with a nice little bow, like a happy little ending, if you will.
So I enjoyed it as well. I feel like it's the second best Matrix behind the original. I agree that apparently, like, one of my friends is a Matrix enthusiast. He wrote his senior thesis in college on the Matrix. Like, he knows everything about the franchise. I agree with you that some of the fight scenes were pretty bad. And according to him, like, Lily is really the fight master of the two of them. Like, she was the one who handled kind of like the fight sequences and stuff like that for the original trilogy. So with her not in it, that's why all the fighting shit kind of looked wonky. I mean, and you can't even say it's like age, because fucking Keanu Reeves has awesome fight scenes in John Wick, and those movies just came out. Yeah, so it's not because he's old. It's because Lana that's not really her forte. I really enjoyed how they took pieces from every movie, like you said, and incorporated them, because it would have been very easy for them to just say like, okay, well, 2 and 3 weren't as well received as 1, so we can just kind of do a reboot, but they didn't. They kind of and they ended it. This could be the end, like you said. So I enjoyed it. I definitely want to see it again. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend that you watch it and then watch it again on HBO Max. So either go to the theater and then watch it again on HBO, or see it twice, because there probably are things that you would need to see again. Like, for example, I want to watch it again, put subtitles on. I don't want to spoil anything for those people who haven't seen it, but there is one scene in there where having subtitles on would be a huge help, because you pretty much can't understand anything that one of the characters is saying. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was really enjoyable. It told a good story, and without disregarding anything.
It makes sense for as much as a Matrix property can make sense. Like, it feels like it fit within the world they created way back in '99, and like I said, it does not discount or retcon anything from 1 through 3. And I think probably even on this show, I think I had a prediction win, a speculation win in what they were doing with Neo and or Trinity. I think I was the one that kind of said that they may, we saw them cart off in Matrix 3. You never know what those machines are going to get into with their organic batteries. So, I always, me, I'm a fucking shithead. I'm a narcissist to the 10th power. So I'm good at fucking predicting stuff based on trailers and little dribbles of footage. And I'm going to get on my soapbox again when we get through the Book of Boba Fett, because hot damn, I was maybe even 3 for 3 on my bold predictions just after watching the first 33-minute episode, which is ridiculous for premiere, but whatever, we'll get there. So Matrix, I beat Halo Infinite. I still stand by that I really enjoyed the game, but man, that fucking story is bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. Like, even more bullshit than Halo 5. Like, it's just like, really? This was the This is why we're doing this. It was dumb. I mean,
that's disappointing to hear.
Yeah, but
I've played it a little bit more.
You still like, I don't know how many missions in, but you hit this one mission and it's pretty much you're locked in it till the end. They don't give you one of those warnings like some open world games do. Like, hey,
yeah,
if you get in this, you probably could maybe, if you find like a banshee or something, fly to the other islands. But for right now, you're fucking stuck here and you need to go there. And I kept feeling compelled to go through it, but there's a moment where you start to realize, like, yeah, this is the story. It's no longer compelling. It's no longer, I want to go figure out what's happening. I know what's happening. And it's just like, I guess if we're going for Halo 7, 8, 9, now things are going to be staged and set up for that. But it didn't really add much to the lore in general, nor did it add much to Master Chief. But I still love the game. I thought it was a fantastic return to form for the most part. But really, I don't think there's been a great Halo story since Halo 4.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the 343 started off strong with Halo 4, and then, I mean, at least in terms of storytelling, 5 and Infinite have really fallen flat with the fan base, which is surprising considering how well, I guess you would say, like, how well received and how. Dude,
I mean, they had not that I'm a master of Star Wars EU, like when it was the EU, but Halo had that body of work. I mean, we're talking.
Yeah.
I would say at least double-digit novels to flesh out some of the lore, some of Chief, some of the Forerunner stuff. There were comics. It did like a Star Wars Visions thing a few years ago where they took shorts to kind of tell the story. So yeah, I don't know, but I still thoroughly enjoyed the game. And I think if I was younger and was still really keyed into multiplayer, I'd still be like, oh, Halo Infinite, I can't wait to go play multiplayer. I got to get in there, increase my rank, battle pass, this, that. I just don't give a shit about that type of stuff. So got through that, and I guess I'm going back to Mass Effect, which, hey, you're going to be able to play now because it's coming to Games Pass on the 6th.
I did.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition, buddy. So there you go. Now you can be like me and play 12-year-old games for an entire year straight.
I will not be playing that. There's too many other things that I still have. Like, I still have to beat Halo Infinite. I'm very close to the end of Ratchet and Clank, and then I still have to play like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like finish that. So I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like the pull to play Mass Effect again. But who knows? Like, maybe if it's free and in front of my face, then I will. So
well, now that I beat Halo, I mean, I think I'm gonna go back and get as many pickups as I can. I'm not gonna fuck around with the audio logs because they're not marked on a map. But I still just like running around the world, even post Endgame, and shooting fucking Banished and little shithead grunts and hunting down some of the bounty targets. I mean, I really these past 2 weeks since the last time we talked, I mean, kind of took my foot off the Star Wars gas pedal. Obviously got up super early last Wednesday for the Book of Boba, which we will be breaking down here soon, I promise you. But just did a lot of laying around, hanging around, watching old franchises. I mean, I took the family through the full Fast and Furious just to show them like how crazy shit starts to get.
Dude, it gets nuts around like 5.
Yeah, because 5 is when The Rock shows up, and it's more or less when they start becoming more of like the spy unit than just street racers, for sure. Yeah. But by the time, again, when you get to 9 and the motherfuckers take a Pontiac Fiero to space,
I have not seen 9.
It's just, it's fucking brilliant. Like, we can sit here and make fun of it, but we all love it in some capacity. Like, I am excited. This is no bullshit. I am excited for Fast 10. Like, to the point where I'm like, hey, Dwayne, just get on the phone with Vin. Let's get this shit shot because I need to see Fast 10.
Did you see that The Rock came out and said, he literally basically said, like, fuck you to Vin Diesel. He's like, I'm not doing that movie. And he's like, Vin Diesel's gaslighting all of you. So that's not happening.
I'm pretty sure he was done after 8, and once he got a spinoff with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Yeah, they're going through the Harry Potters because the kids pretty much
she's
anything.
getting to that age to where like that's appropriate for her, right? Because like Harry Potter shit starts to get dark right in the middle.
Well, that's why we're bad parents. I showed her like the whole franchise probably when she was 4, like 3.5, 4. But back then, I'm realizing now, like little people brains, they don't work back then. Like she doesn't remember jack shit in terms of like what movies she's seen. Like I would argue she barely remembers the plot of Star Wars at this point in time.
She probably doesn't.
No,
yeah, I mean, it's been such a long time.
So, I went through, we did some Harry Potters because I want to watch that 20th anniversary deal that just came out on HBO Max. That looks pretty cool. A lot of board games. That's fun. You know, I have a feeling this conversation's kind of stupid, so we'll transition to Boba soon. But it was nice to kind of just get back into playing board games, some Yahtzee, drinking some bourbon. No bourbon tonight, though. No, that's what I have to keep. It's like a mantra. I just have to keep repeating it. No bourbon tonight. No bourbon tonight. No bourbon tonight. So I don't know. It was a good 2 weeks of pretty much doing nothing and accomplishing nothing. If you are a super fan, you remember before the break, I got a new 8K receiver, and I was talking about a rewire project and how that may be good for me. Something to look forward to. Well, I can come back and tell you now, it was horrific. It was a horrific experience. It ended up taking 8 fucking hours to get done. I finally finished plugging the last cable in around like 11 o'clock. I'm like, all right, finally. Now I got to go through all my OCD video and audio testing, setting up the calibrations and crossover levels correctly. And I turn the fucking thing on, Nick, and it keeps going. No source detected. No source detected. No. Mind you, people, the reason this took 8 hours is, I should post the picture. I'll post it to the Discord if I remember. I completely gutted my entertainment center. I took out every console, every set-top box, the old receiver. I took out all the HDMI cables, all the power, everything was ripped out. I hand wrote labels for every power cable, every data cable, every HDMI, every speaker. I did banana plugs for the speaker. Everything's hooked up. I'm like, finally, this sucked, but it's finally done. I'm going to have 8K capabilities. The Xbox Series X is going to run at 120, and it's going to have the VRR, all this shit. Woo! No signal detected. I'm not kidding, my friend. I had like a mini breakdown. I started like almost moaning, like, why? I mean, I know I'm kind of off the rails. I'm different than a lot of you. But if you spend 8 hours rewiring shit, and then when you go to hit the magic button and it essentially just goes poof, what would it do to you? To me, it almost broke me down. Like I think I cried. I really think I cried. Like, why?
I can't even imagine. It's like if I do a PC build. And I mean, PC builds don't take all that long. I mean, like once you get used to it, you could probably crack out a full PC build in like an hour.
Yeah.
But like if I get through a build and I turn it on and that screen doesn't come on, I'm like, you kind of have like a mini panic attack.
Yeah, like life is over. Life is ending.
Going through, like you're sitting there in your head. You're like, oh, what is the fucking
right?
What's dead? What's not working?
What am I doing with my life? How much time did I just waste?
So but 8 hours, I can't even imagine that. If it was 8 hours, I would have been like, well, it just doesn't work and it's not going to work. See ya.
I was almost there, but luckily, because I am somewhat of a master troubleshooter. I'm not really good at anything, but I can troubleshoot technology. That's it. I can't really program it well, but I can decipher and just kind of pull shit out of my ass when stuff's not working. And luckily, I'm like, you know what? There's no way I fucked this up. I labeled every cable, but let me just switch these two cables, which look the same. One was like for my Apple TV. The other is the main out to the TV. Because that's why I like having a nice AV. You get expanded HDMI. You get all the every port is decked out with 2, 3, and 2.1 and all this fucking stupid shit that we have to worry about now if you want the best. And I'm like, you know what? There's no way I fucked this up. I labeled everything. I'm a god. And sure as shit, as soon as I flip those two over, hey, there's the fucking signal. Idiot! I was like, you idiot. That should have been the first thing I looked at. You know better than that. So yeah, that was fun. And then the Xbox, really the whole reason I do this, Nick, because I just want the Xbox to be plugged into the receiver so I get my Atmos sound back and it's not going into TV and giving me stereo bullshit. And I go in and look, because on the Xbox you can be like, all right, test my system out. What can I do? It's like, okay, 4K, everything's looking good, and then it's doing the audio and shit, and it's like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do 120. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? I just put in an 8K receiver that supports all this shit. So, luckily, like I said, I understand machines. They call me Neo. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into the receiver, because I remember I always go through every setup when I get a new device. I recommend it to anyone. If you get a new piece of technology and it has a settings function, go through it, every one of them, because you'll learn shit you never thought your devices could do, and you just get kind of better wherewithal to how to use your device at its peak level. But anyways, there's a setting, Nick, you had to go in and actually say, oh yeah, this port needs to be 8K enhanced. Not 4K enhanced, it has to be 8K enhanced. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll try that, and sure shit, the Xbox reported back, all green check marks. I'm rocking and rolling, 120, VRR, 4K, you name it. Let's go. Yeah. My ears are getting blown out because the shit's so fucking loud now. Like the bass like makes my eardrums go numb. Like, but it's kind of what I wanted. So there you go. Happy holidays. It's all over. Let's go back to work. Bleh. All right, man, it's been 30 minutes. I think we've at least scared away the casual listeners. Let's get into some Star Wars. In particular, the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 1. Stranger in a Strange Land. So if you're new here to one of our breakdowns, this is kind of one of the things we do. Back in the day, we used to do separate shows for just shows to break them down, but then we're like, you know what? Who gives a shit? Let's not try to get too many episodes of Star Wars Time Show out there. Let's keep the number low. One show a week, and we do it all.
Yes.
So we usually, go around the table, the little table here, and give our general preferences or our general reaction to the episode. Then we'll go through and do the deep dive nerdy shit by looking at particular screens and kind of giving our insights into what we thought we saw and what may come out of what we saw. Essentially setting up what we're probably going to see tomorrow. And by the way, how shitty is watching a Star Wars show on a Wednesday? It was terrible.
I mean,
it was terrible.
I didn't watch it on Wednesday.
Yeah, but that still counts as it. That counts as it being terrible. The fact that Nick, someone that takes time out of his week to do a Star Wars podcast, was like, you know what? Fuck it. New Star Wars is out. It's Wednesday. It doesn't work for me. I'm not watching it. So you're in line with how I'm thinking about these Wednesday releases.
It's I watch it on. I think I watched this one actually on Friday or Saturday. It's pretty sure.
Yeah, but it's just like, well, I mean, it doesn't feel right. Last week we can kind of get away with it because it still was kind of a dead week, holiday week. I mean, I'm off this week and next, so it's still not going to be as atrocious as it will be when I'm back to full work. But Wednesday premieres for Star Wars, no good. All right, I give it a 2 thumbs down just on the day it released. All right, so let's talk about real life here. All right, so for me, if you watch the video, which thank you to the almost 500 of you that did, it's one of our bigger views in quite some time. We've got some new subs, so thanks for all that, and please keep it up. Every Wednesday I'm committing to do this dumb shit, even if we don't really need to do it because we'll be talking about it on the show, but it's good for me. It's like therapy, I guess. But kind of in my breakdown, which you can check out on youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. And in Discord, like I said, Nick, anything Star Wars, especially with a character like Boba Fett, is never going to be bad to me. Okay, it's impossible. But I'm also not surprised at a lot of the backlash we've got from the fandom because we have defined the Star Wars fandom on the show as being one of the most spoiled, toxic, and hive of scum and villainy out of any pop culture fandom there is. It just, at this point, you cannot make Star Wars fans happy, period. There's no more consensus anymore. Star Wars fans can't agree. Nothing's ever right. If it doesn't live up to the scenes and shit that they had in their own heads, it's a travesty. It's a failure. It's Kathleen Kennedy coming to steal their childhood away and step on it and take a shit on it. No, you're not going to really get that here. But I'll give you an honest critique. I mean, yes, I am a fanboy. I am a Star Wars Kool-Aid drinker. You know, I'll run through the wall like that big guy used to do for Star Wars. But I can also be critical without being a shithead.
Yeah.
First off, I didn't appreciate Robert lying to us. I think that was one of the
straight up.
Yeah,
lied.
I think that was one of the things that caught a lot of people off guard was him kind of pitching the idea like, listen, motherfuckers, you've only seen footage from the first half of the first episode because shit's so explosive. Well, that was a complete farce. I mean, this premiere was at best a prologue. It hardly detailed anything in the present timeline. I felt like this was more or less like, hey, for all you idiots doing fan podcasts, this is what Boba was up to right after he fell into that Sarlacc's mouth. Good. We asked for it. I had pitchforks out saying, if we don't get it, I'm going to burn Disney down, all that goofy shit. So we got all that. But I think what a lot of us were looking for, outside of a longer episode, I think a 33-minute premiere, 32-minute premiere if you don't count the opening roll and the closing roll, it doesn't work well for live action Star Wars. You got to do at least 40, maybe 50 like Mando did. But really, Nick, I think the reason the Book of Boba Fett may have felt flat for a lot of people, there truly was not an oh fuck moment. There was no Baby Yoda. There was no Mandalorian finding Cobb Vanth wearing the Boba Fett armor, taking down a crate dragon sequence.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a pretty plain Jane prologue-esque premiere, which I don't know if that's the best way to premiere a series, but in terms of, giving some fans a little backstory, I do think this first episode paid off. I also think it has now kind of showed its hand in how the entire narrative is going to be delivered in the Book of Boba Fett. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb here, but I believe we're going to have a two-pronged narrative in the Book of Boba Fett. You're going to get his time with this eclectic Sand or Tusken Raider tribe and seeing how his time with them fundamentally changed who he was and who he wanted to be and what he wanted to do. And then you're going to see him kind of making his way as a crime lord or a youngling. Hey, look, they used youngling in Star Wars. It wasn't canceled for all you people that get worked up about that stupid shit.
Was that? I didn't even know that was.
No, he said, oh yeah, no, yeah. This was another thing that Disney was taking away, and because of political, you can't say youngling anymore. It's like, well, there you go. They just fucking said it. So, I wasn't blown away. I definitely wasn't disappointed. I think there was. Let's be real. We all love Tem. And I think this was Nick's biggest gripe. There's just something off about Tem essentially being and looking the same way at the end of Return of the Jedi, and then again 6-7 years later. There's a bit of disconnect there. The running at night was atrocious. It made Tem look like he was 80 and like a geriatric. It exposed a lot of the VFX. It was just bad. The fighting surprisingly was bad for a Robert Rodriguez production. Anyone out there is like, oh, the fighting was bad. I can tell you right now, the stunt buddy came back to me. He's like, yo, the action in the Book of Boba Fett is trash. And
I just don't understand that, given the action that we saw in the one episode of Mando, that the action when he was like fighting with that gaffy stick and everything when they were on Tython was really good. Right. And then this was just like, no. What the fuck happened? Did Tem not train? Did Robert just completely just surpass? Did he just glaze past the fighting scenes and stuff? I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it was not
yeah,
good.
I mean, we have a little bit of an extended fan question of the week responses this week, and that was a general thread. what was up with the fight? Like, why didn't he use his jetpack? Great question. I don't know. Why didn't he shoot the rocket at their feet instead of right into shields? I don't know. I mean, it's a fucking show, and you got to put characters in situations to tell story. I mean, obviously, let's be real. They had to beat up Boba Fett to put him back in the back-to-tank to do flashbacks. The back-to-tank is the flashback vehicle. I think that also showcased that our buddy Boba, after his time in the Sarlacc and living in the Dune Sea, that the rough life he lived with the Tuskens, probably had adverse effects on his body. I mean, he's almost at it's not nearly as severe, but he's almost like an Anakin Skywalker, to where after a while, dude needs to recharge. Dude needs to go in there and heal. And I think a big reason for that in the show is those are where we're going to get the flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was okay. Like, I talked to one of my good friends about it, and we kind of had the same idea that it was an okay introduction to the character. It just seems like there were, like you were saying, like obvious misses. You know, like Robert Rodriguez is known for his action. That's why I brought him into Mando, and then you have the intro to Boba Fett or book, and the action's all bad. Just not paying any attention to the fact that you have de-aging technology that you could use to make him look different in these flashbacks. Because like I even messaged Matt after. I was like, yeah, I just watched it. I was like,
this is great. You guys,
I was like, so was he just like? I was like, so I was like, what happened? Was he in there for like 6 years and he just got out? Like, why does he look the same, like in the current timeline as he did if he supposedly got out of the Sarlacc pit like the night after it happened? Like, there's no way. I don't care who you are or how bad you get fucked up by the Sarlacc, you're gonna age over 7 years.
You know what? What I think it is, Nick? Because I mean, if we look at ourselves, especially the older humans get, a 6 to 7 year period, you may notice a noticeable change, but you may not. I think it's the fact that Tem is just a larger man than Jeremy Bulloch was when he went into the pit. So he comes out looking like he was eating a fucking Thanksgiving dinner in there, and he's an older gentleman. We love the guy. I mean, this is nothing against Tem, but the people in charge of the visuals probably should have accounted for that a bit more.
You have the technology. Like we've seen it done in Marvel. We've seen it done in Star Wars. We've seen it done in Disney properties for years now. I mean, you have the technology to like slim him down, to make his face look younger, to make it, to do all of these things that we're so used to seeing now, and you did nothing. It was like, for me, it was a mental disconnect for like a little while, because I legitimately thought in my head, I'm like, okay, well, they're digested over 1,000 years, blah, blah, blah. So maybe like he could be in there for 6 years and just not be dead yet. Like he would still be alive because it takes so long.
He's living off the slime inside the stomach sac.
I'm like, I have no fucking clue. But then when I found out, I was like, no, this is supposed to be like right after. I was well, that just like fucks everything up in terms of just the visual look of the character. The fight with the Maroon gang was definitely disappointing, because it's like, if that's all you need to do to stop Boba Fett and Fennec is stand around them with shields, then like I don't see them lasting very long in this galaxy. Yeah, dude. Like they were literally saved by like Gamorrean guards who were next to naked with fucking hand axes. Yeah. So I was like wow.
Cheap machetes and sais and shit. It was, and those Gamorreans, by the way, just like materialized out of the air. Because this is another thing people caught. They leave. What's her name? Green or Gris? Damn, I forget her name already. My girl, Jennifer Beals.
Yeah, the orange. Yeah.
They leave. The guards are right behind them, and then they get attacked, and the guards are just gone. Then they come back like gone. 5 minutes later, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna save the day."
They stopped off. They had to make a hit the head while they were walking through the city. They're like, "We're gonna hit this public bathroom right here. Don't get jumped while we're gone." Yeah. And then they come out, and they're like, "Oh shit." So that was like very weird. The straight up lie, like Matt said. I mean, like we were all expecting. I was like, okay, well. I looked at the runtime. I was like, 39 minutes seems long, and that's like the posted runtime under the video. And like Matt said, that includes the end credits and then the front shit. So the episode was only 33. So I was like, man, that's not a lot of time to like get through what we saw in the trailers.
No.
I mean, we didn't even get to see the mayor. We didn't. I mean, I don't know, man. It was kind of weird. Like, there were enjoyable things about it, obviously. I think that seeing some of the stuff with the Tuscans was cool. A little flashback to Camino was cool. I will say that I think people wanted more from the Sarlacc escape, but like, I don't know how else you could have done that. Like, that was never going to be a big moment because it's him getting out of a pit. But like, I watched that and I was like, oh, well, that's it. Like, you nailed it. He set himself on fire to get out.
Yeah, well,
but it was literally like, oh, look around. There's a stormtrooper. Set off my flamethrower and then dig myself out of the ground.
Yeah,
well, that was kind of.
I do want to thank you for that honor you just bestowed upon me, because I have yet to get up and start pounding my chest about the prediction wins here. So I did mostly hit on his escape, although I can't give myself full credit, because I said that the act of him catching himself on fire would cause the beast to spit it out. Instead, he just essentially cuts his stomach open and lights himself on fire and then crawls out from the side of it out of the pit. And he does kill the motherfucking Sarlacc. I think we can give Boba credit for the kill, because when he's inside the stomach, this is something we talked about in our Discord. So you join the Discord, go over to Instagram. We got a link in there. But when you get that shot of Boba in the stomach and he comes to, you can still hear it screeching. You can see it breathing still. The stormtrooper is odd. Where the fuck does that come from? Like I said, it's like, well, I guess that's the little platoon that was out looking for the droids, and they just made a wrong fucking turn, because there was no stormtroopers during the Battle of the Skiffs. None. There was none. So
that's what I'm saying is like I don't know if like that guy, like, was he just in there for a long time, like much longer than Boba, and you just can't tell, or like there's I don't know,
but
man.
Hey, whatever. Like I know we're kind of sounding like negative Nancy's. That's not the point. We're just discussing it, breaking it down. I can tell you right now, I thoroughly enjoyed it and watched it 3 times on Wednesday. One time with notes, and then another time just to enjoy it, and then the third time with the family. So don't get me wrong here, all right? And yeah, we're nitpicking at his look and all that stuff. I've said this before. I'm not someone that's going to get butthurt over how people look in a science fiction franchise or property. It's just like, with the Mando and Ahsoka. Everyone with her neck shit's too. It's like, okay. Yeah, Boba might look a little off, but who cares? It really, ultimately, his look does not matter. Young Nick got a little confused, but oh well, not that big of a deal. I just felt like for a premiere, it did decent setup. I mean, you can totally see where things are going now in the present timeline and the flashbacks. But I think the what we were sold in the lead up and the hype behind it from the creators. And like, listen, we can't, we've had to hold stuff back. It gets so nutty and this and that. And it just lacked that, like, everyone running to their phones after watching, like, did you see, there's a fucking baby Yoda. Like that. It lacked that. Not that is a bad deal. But overall, it was good. We now know where things are going. Like I said, for someone like me, it gives me vision into the future, and I really do think we are going to have a 2-pronged narrative for the remaining 6 episodes, meaning we're going to learn more about Boba's time with this special group of Tuscans and how that changed him to become the guy wearing the what we call the Nomad Fett suit by the time we see him in The Mandalorian. And then obviously his struggles with trying to be a crime lord. And you can already see that this mayor character...
He's having trouble already.
Yeah, this mayor character is, as promised from the leaks and what we talked about on the show, is going to be the initial adversary, potentially the connection to Crimson Dawn. And there was my next hit. I had all these accounts going around after Wednesday, like, hey, did you listen at 1:49 in Ludwig's score? You can hear the Crimson Dawn theme from Solo. And I'm just like... Lick my fucking feet, motherfuckers, all right? Lick my feet. I posted this on December 8th, before the leak happened, before Ludwig's music came out. I told every one of you to be on the lookout for CD, in particular Kira, being the big bad in the Book of Boba Fett. So I know it's just a musical hint so far, but it looks like it's going to happen, and everyone was jumping on that. So, of course, I had to do the, hey, don't forget about us. That dumb shit that I do. Like, hey, don't forget about us. We did this. Look, I'm going to repost it again just so you can see we did this. So that was the second one I hit on.
We were right.
I think so far the CD prediction is looking good. The Escape from the Pit, for the most part, hit. And like my long shot one hit immediately. Jango Fett. I told you motherfuckers Jango Fett would be in this show. And you could be like, hey, Matt, come on. Again, you're kind of getting away on a technicality. But no, it counts. We saw the motherfucker's helmet. We got that reflection from his young son. So there we go. Damn near 3 for 3. 1 episode in. Everyone, give me a amen. In the highest.
I will say, did you see the comparison video between the same 2 shots? The shot of young Boba picking up the helmet from episode 2 versus what they showed in Mando. It's like night and day difference. Basically, like in episode 2, it's just literally a pulled out shot that just shows Boba pick up the helmet and looks at it and puts it to his head, puts it down. And then what Book did was so much more, I don't know, so much more focused on the character and the emotions. Like they actually pull into the helmet, that, like we see in the screenshot that you pulled. They show more emotion on young Boba's face and stuff like that. And they were like, this is George Lucas's directing slash cinematography versus what, Robert Rodriguez and the guys are doing at Book now. So I thought that was a very interesting juxtaposition between the exact same scene, just done in 2 different ways, and how like camera movement and character focus can make a big difference on what you're showing in your scene. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, overall, it sets things up well. I mean, it shows you that like, hey, Boba's in a new place in his life now. I remember one of the comments from one of the people, or like on the question of the week for the last episode that we did before we went on the week break was, I hope he's still the badass bounty hunter that he was before. And my response to that was like, well, you could probably put that to bed now because he's not a bounty hunter anymore. He's not gonna be a bounty hunter. Like he is a crime lord. He's trying to be a crime lord now, and you can't expect him to just be like, okay, well, I was a bounty hunter, then I went through all this shit, and now I'm just going to continue bounty hunting. Like it's a different person now. His goals are different. He's not looking to do the same thing. So I'm glad that we kind of pushed past that barrier pretty quickly to like let people know, like, hey, this isn't going to be a show about like, okay, me and Boba Fett, we're going to go bounty hunting again. Right. Like this is a show about him coming into his own as a new crime lord. Right,
and not really wanting to be the badass warrior that he was known around the galaxy. I mean, even Fennec, and we knew this through the trailers, was like, dude, really? Like, shouldn't we just fuck people up for a little bit and kind of get him in line and we'll be good to go? But no, he's really kind of sticking to this, hey, I want to be different. And I think some of what has people a little bent about how he fought and how he looks and acts in the Book of Boba Fett is the fact that we saw him go tribal on Tython. And I think a lot of people are like, well, if he could do it then without his armor for the most part for the first half of that fight, what would happen now? But, maybe he had a back to tank on the Slave One that he had to get in right away. I really think this is a thing where Boba Fett, due to the trauma he suffered in the Sarlacc, not breathing for who knows how. I mean, hell, he could be, half mental when you don't get oxygen to your brain for a while. That's another, like, to get all Neil deGrasse Tyson. Boba Fett in his armor could fly through space. Just did it in War of the Bounty Hunters. Does that not imply he has some sort of hermetically sealed oxygen system?
It's like exactly. Yes.
But I guess when you're in a Sarlacc's gut, you need some oxygen.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But it's always been weird, the disconnect between like the comics and then like what you actually what's in.
Like I said, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not Neil. It's like whatever it is. He got out. He needed some air. There was a stormtrooper in there to give it to him. I understand why the writers went that way, but yeah. All right, so I think we've kind of gone through it in terms of what we thought, what we expected, maybe, if something let us down. So now it's time to really get into and break down all the nuances from it. All right, so we usually start with our Easter eggs and references. A reference is just like, hey, this is a reference to Star Wars, past Star Wars, potentially future Star Wars, and then Easter eggs, you know what the hell that is. And then I'll just recap some of the key moments and how they may affect the rest of the show. So starting out here with the Easter eggs, I love that they just gave us damn near mirrored shots of the palace from Return of the Jedi. I mean, that was a great opening. It's all quiet. You get Luke's hallway. You get the stairways the same way it was shot when Luke shows up. And then obviously it goes into his quarters and the flashbacks. It was kind of surprising that we get Camino, right? He's thinking about his birthplace, his home. Sorry, dude. Here comes my COVID. Got the Slave One in there.
Yep.
The Django. Uh-oh. Go ahead, go.
The Django movement. Then, right after that, we finally get the Sarlacc pit moment. The Sarlacc pit moment we were all waiting for, with the Stormtrooper in there, like Matt said.
Yeah, you know what? The Stormtrooper, like, if you look at this screenshot, if you're on the live stream, and if you're not on the live stream,
you can see that his armor is, like, starting to
it's
break
decaying.
down.
Yeah, and like Trevor said here in the chat, it is Jabba the Hutt. It could very well have been the motherfuckers looking for the droids, and he's like, oh, yeah, they're over there. No, walk 2 more feet. Yep. Oh,
yeah, you're almost there.
They just all fall in. But yeah, he looks like he's been in there at least since A New Hope, trying to digest. Yeah. So my theory still stands. I feel like during the daylight shots, they should have made the fact that the Jabba's skiff and the small barges were still kind of smoking. Because you don't really get that until the night scene, but that was a nice touch. That's why I was like, nah, man, Nick, trust me, man. Boba was only in there from, the time he flew in, the ships blew up, and then he got out a little bit later because you can see the wreckage is still kind of smoldering as the Jawas roll up.
Do you think he got knocked out? Is that why it took him so long to get out?
Yeah,
did he fall in there?
I don't know if you noticed, but when it cuts to him, he's unconscious, and then he comes to. So he was either knocked out going in, or the fact that he wasn't able to breathe for a certain amount of time probably took him out. So I guess he was able to breathe enough to where he didn't fully die and his brain didn't shut down, but he was definitely not with it when he woke up. What else we got here? The sand people, and really what we're looking at here, the Easter egg, it was a dumb one, but I did see some people like, what are all these melons and shit about? Like, guys, girls, this was introduced in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, when Cobb Vanth kind of shit on his Tusken host when he did not accept the watermelon to drink. So that's what those are. That's why they were there. That's why they were digging them up and all that fun stuff. So the black melon balls grow in the Dune Sea. Hey, man, before we carry on here, what do you think is with this Tusken tribe? Is this just... Are they just dressed differently to make them stand out for this story? Or do you think there's something deeper to how they look and behave versus standard sand people?
Yeah, I mean... It's hard to tell because it doesn't seem like Tuskens have they don't go to the market. They don't buy different clothes. No. It just seems like they're true scavengers. So maybe, this section of the Dune Sea, this is just kind of what they could scavenge and pick up. It seems like they're going to be like a more of like a nomad style tribe where they may not stick around in one place for too long and kind of pick up and move around. So maybe...
They just seem, maybe I don't know. I guess I never expected sand people to have personality. And this tribe does. I mean, there's a clear chieftain. Yeah. He's got a clear chiefess. That's the one that beat the shit out of Boba with the gaffy stick. And then I believe the kid is their son, daughter, whatever.
Yeah.
But they wear necklaces with symbols and shit on it. I mean, that's just stuff that sand people don't do, or at least I didn't think they do.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't get to see a lot of sand people culture, I mean, until Mandalorian, really, where you see Dan actually conversing with sand people through sign language. The closest you get to that prior was in Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic on Tatooine when you're going through and you have the whole storyline with the same people and stuff like that. So if you use that as a reference, then yeah, there is a little bit more lore behind like Sand People culture and their personalities back then. And the stories they told, because they had like lore keepers about how they became Tusken Raiders and stuff like that. But I don't think that the color of the garb is any indication of like I mean, maybe it is kind of like tribal just between other Sand People. Like, you know, if you wear black and red, then you're of the fucking tribe. And if you wear orange and you're the tribe, you know, whatever.
I think we should do the rest of the show in Tuscan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star Wars Time Show's back 2022.
But I do think that like maybe they're going to use this as a way to show like, hey, Tuskens aren't just like murderous killers that you've heard
mindless
about
beasts, you know, fucking Anakin Skywalker, the murderer.
Yeah, I mean,
these people probably tell tales of the young Jedi that slaughtered tribe, or like the evil sand hater Anakin Skywalker with his whoosh whoosh whoosh. Okay, I gotta stop that. I'll be talking Tusken the rest of the day. I don't know. I mean, listen, like I said before, we're gonna get a lot of Boba with this tribe. I mean, this tribe is going to remake Boba Fett, just like Kingdom of Weird is saying in the live stream chat. We already know they're going to teach him how to fight with a gaffy stick, because clearly the motherfucker had zero skills when they first caught him. I mean, like I said, the chief just gives him a lesson, and no, this is how you use a gaffy. And by the time we see him in Mando, he's an expert at it. So it really is like I haven't seen Dances with Wolves in years, so I may be misspeaking here. But I do believe it's very similar in that, you know, Kevin Costner's character is, I think, a Union soldier. I believe he gets injured and a tribe takes him in. And over the months, he learns their ways, their culture, and essentially becomes a part of the tribe and realizes...
it's like Last Samurai, too.
Yeah, there you go. And realizes, like, what I was doing with the white man, probably not good. I wasn't living my best life. I have learned how to live now through these tribal people. And I think Boba Fett's going to go through the same thing, because, I mean, honestly, it's looking now like he is going to spend 6 years with them in the fucking desert.
Yeah.
I know we still have to get him to Tashi Station, but at this point, I don't think he's going to Anchorhead to get off planet like he was telling that Rodian anymore. I think he's probably going after that Nikto gang, which probably fucked with the Sand People he's with. You don't show that gang in a throwaway scene where the kid takes him there. That was done on purpose.
For no reason.
I have a feeling this gang is going to fuck with the Tuskens, if not kill the kid, and that's what's going to cause Boba to be like, all right, I need to get my fucking armor back. I need to become a crime lord and put all these little cunts into their fucking places, because I can't have this happening anymore, where these, you know, shitheads that were under Jabba's control are just doing whatever they want, ransacking moisture farmers, killing Tuskens. I'm going to be the crime lord to clean this shit up. There you go. You heard it here first. It's going to play out this way, I promise you. All right.
Yeah, and I think that's why he's taking a different approach, as we heard in the show. Like, I'm not running shit the way Jabba did. Like, I'm going to run things differently, and there's going to be different.
You're right, because what does he say to 8D8? I will not torture. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have to think that comes from the fact that he was tortured by little kids. And being beat and, you know, starved and
tied up, and
so
all that shit.
It's good stuff. Like I said, we love the episode, but we're Star Wars fans. You got to fucking pick it apart first, right? Okay, Massives. I need to just cut these from the eggs and references, because they're pretty much in everything live action Star Wars these days. But I did kind of like Boba, like, hey, just chill, buddy, and hooah, knocks him out so he can get away. And yeah, that was the jankiest looking scene in the episode was Tem running away in his jumpsuit from a digital dog. Just did not look good at all. Our boy 8D8, you know, he got a little bit of a promo. He's no longer down in the droid torture area. He's like the fucking announcer, right? I mean, is he Boba's major domo? Is that what you would call him? I didn't look up major domo. I had to go and refresh on what a daimyo is, but are major domos just like your rep, your voice?
That's like your announcer, something like that. But I think so. I mean, because you had the scene before where somebody comes in and they're like, we need a protocol droid.
Well, yeah, it was this guy right here, the Aqualish. I mean, he kind of counts too, because this is Ponda's species, but this is where Fennec and Boba are like, did you understand anything that motherfucker just said?
Yeah. It's like, now I know why we need translators.
Right. And 88, he's not translating. He's over there getting boners about torturing people. He's like, hey, let's torture them. Yeah, let me get them in my little seat down there and warm their feet up. I loved the Trandoshan. Yeah, okay. We're going to like it more when it's Bosk. But I love this. And it's probably a deep cut for most fans, but the fact that he rolls in his tribute is a Wookiee pelt, that's Dave Filoni stuff right there. Okay, that is Dave Filoni level care, because most people are going to have no clue the significance behind that. But for us nuts, we know that the Transdoshans essentially became the enslavers and trappers of Wookiees once the Empire took over. Like, that was their thing, was going after and trapping Wookiees to make them slaves or killing them. So when our boy Doc Strassi rolls in here with a Wookiee pelt, I was like, that is a nice fucking touch, Dave. You earned your check. But also on this one, Doc, this is the other character that Robert voices. So we know he does the mayor, and he also voices Doc Strassi. I did like the line there when Boba's like, even when a Transdoshan is paying you respect, it sounds like a threat, something like that.
Yeah, it still sounds like a threat. Yeah.
How about this? Rebo and we'll just say it's figuring Dan. It could be one of his other bandmates, but you gotta like that these two, after the events of Return of the Jedi, decided to team up and put out a new spin on the Cantina song. That, again, nice little touch. But apparently Max Rebo doesn't look right. We got a lot of those too. Is he looking too small, I'm guessing? I
think he's too small. Yeah, like he almost looks like a kid version of Max Rebo, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not Max.
No,
Rebo.
it is.
I have no idea.
Like I said, man, I'm telling you, like,
they put it in there.
Yeah, but anyone that wants to be a dope and really know what's happening, turn on closed captions. I know it kind of sucks, but just like Nick is going to do with Matrix, it can be eye revealing, because I was trying to find that sand creature's name. I was like, well, they'll probably put it in. Nope, they literally call it Sand Creature, and I think it's still known as Sand Creature, the Harryhausen.
Sand Creature. Oh God! How'd they survive the barge? Says that. I don't think.
Yeah, because you would not think Max Rebo is quick. I mean, the dude is essentially stuck in his piano. Like, they just shove his fat ass into his piano. So you don't have a quick egress from there. So yeah, I mean, who knows? It's called science fiction. He survived. Him and Bib Fortuna threw on Boba Fett's spare jetpack, grabbed Max Rebo, and they rocketed their asses out of there. Yeah, they're like, we're getting the fuck out of here, Jabba. See ya.
Start a new band.
But I did kind of like their cut. It was a nice take on the Cantina theme, but it was in there. You could still hear it. I liked figuring, kind of picking at that little guitar thing there. That was great stuff. We had one of Nick's favorites. What's his name? Rex. DJ. He's now DJ Rex. But
Rex.
He used to be your guide on the Star Tour rides. And
on Star, yes.
We got one of those, and damn it, I can't believe what was her name? Garpa Wisp or Fwip? Garza Fwip. There it is. Garza Fwip. Chilling in Garza Fwip's place, who, we found out is one of Boba's essentially vassals. I mean, she's just running like a casino, or she was running a casino for Bib, and now she's running it for Fett. How'd you like the... You know what? We're all like, why the fuck is Boba carrying his helmet? And now we know. And he got greased a little bit. He got a little greasing going on.
Because that's what Fennec said. She's like, you don't have to do the rounds. Like, I can do the rounds. Yeah. He's like, no, this, I wanted people to see me. I want people to know that this, we're doing things different now. So yeah, he was going around to the fucking businesses that it does protection for, and he was getting his cut. So that's why the coins were there.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you definitely, in the present timeline, I mean, you get all the Godfather comparisons right off the bat. I mean, the tribute scene is probably one of the best present timeline scenes we had. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just... but when Black Series Clips is saying in here in the live stream chat, if you want to join us, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show, Tuesdays, usually 2:30 p. East. But yeah, going into the casino and just how he acts in there, you know, he is acting kind of regal, you know, he is trying to be the better crime lord, if that oxymoron makes sense. He really is. Yeah, he really is trying to be a... It was a casino too. Sure, there's probably some hoes in the back, but I mean, what do you think these people are playing right here? They're not, you know, getting naked and screwing women. That was a casino. Come on, get your mind out of the gutter. Got a lot of Russians attacking the stream today, and none of our wrenches are in. May have to demote some motherfuckers. Who do we just promote? You're fired. Klondike. You're fired. I just gave you my Vince McMahon. All right, continuing on. Okay, this is not the Lars Homestead, people, all right? I did put it in as an egg reference because it is a moisture farm just like the Lars Homestead. But the structure is way too square to be Luke's home.
And there were other structures that were very close to the Lars Homestead too that you don't see.
Yeah, I mean, this is
that are not included.
Yeah, I mean, they've got like the pit you can see. They've got that plastic thing in the ground where the water comes out. You got the water towers, but the hovel is square, where the Lars's hovel is much more of like an igloo all the way down to the ground. Don't worry, I took the time to look and compare pictures. But like I said, this scene to me is foreshadowing. This Nikto gang, as we know from the trailers, at least parts of what's going to happen, they're going to cross paths with Boba, and I'm guessing it's going to be after they either fuck with the Raiders or, you know, Boba just gets sick of seeing them fucking with people that can't really help themselves. I really wish I could have got what the symbol was at the end. I think Tones dug it up. It's from the Huttese alphabet, and I believe it is like a V that they etched into the house, but I don't know if that's a known gang or what. But
yeah, I think here, because I mean, swoop bike gangs and stuff like that, like there were very few of them that were featured in old canon and stuff before. So I mean, like in this instance, I don't feel like you have to reach back to like something super obscure. You can just have like a new gang out there that's you know, kind of gone off the rails since Jabba's been gone,
right? And
like it just goes to show, like, it really shows more of like Bib Fortuna's weakness, to where like he can't keep his people in line.
Yeah, he didn't. You're right. Like he obviously, I don't think people feared him like they feared Jabba. I think Bib was more like, listen, I'm gonna come in and sit at the throne. As long as you guys don't fuck with me and keep me eating and getting heavy, I'm good. Like, do whatever you got to do. You know, fuck with the moisture farmers, fuck with the mayor. You know, go to the casino, like, get laid whenever you want. Just keep bringing me food and money.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's basically like, look, just give me money to let me maintain my lifestyle. It doesn't even have to be the right amount of money. Just give me money.
Yeah, he didn't
want to work. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, he didn't want to be he essentially was Jabba's major domo. I mean, that's what he was. He would meet the guests, and he would do the exchanges between visitors and Lord Jabba himself. I feel like this Nikto gang is going to play a prominent role in Boba's growth during the flashback narrative that I do believe is going to run the entire season. I don't think the flashbacks were a one-off deal. I really think this is going to be something you get every episode, the show, in small bits and pieces, events and characters that ultimately reformed who Boba Fett wants to be and why we see him emerge in The Mandalorian as Neo Fett. Still a badass, but clearly has a different agenda and goals in life.
Yeah.
Okay, so those were your eggs and references for the Book of Boba Fett, S1E1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Key moments, we may have hit on some of these. the stormtrooper being in there, right? I think this is something I was asking. I'm looking at my notes. I was like, was the Sarlacc dead? Well, it was not. After my subsequent rewatches, when he's in there and we're seeing him break out, the Sarlacc is very much alive. So yes, we can give Boba Fett now canon credit for killing that particular Sarlacc.
Killing a Sarlacc.
Which is probably the one that we see the crate dragon hole up in. Because remember, the crate in Mando S2 goes into an old Sarlacc pit. So,
and there was like a lot of assumption too back then is that the crate killed it and ate it.
Well,
because crates eat Sarlaccs, but you could probably still eat the dead one.
Yeah, no, they do. We are rewriting, Jesus, mouth boy. We are rewriting the canon right now because I don't think it's out there. So Boba killed it. The crate dragon comes in and slurps it up to take its cave. There you go. It's done. That's how it happens. The burnout, got you there. Your boy has always got you on the speculations. He's getting out, looking a little sandy and doughy. Well, it's like he gained a little weight in the Sarlacc pit. He must have been, like I said, he was eating.
It's funny.
He was eating
like,
other
this is
giblets.
What your hands look like. If you've ever baked bread or done anything with dough, that's what your hands look like once they get covered in dough.
Yeah, no, this is what it looks like when you have little kids and they have like fucking kinetic sand and Play-Doh all over the fucking house and you got to clean it up. Yeah, this is it. So it was nice seeing him come out and like we said, we get the confirmation at this point. We've done it. Boba killed the Sarlacc, so his legend only grew in this episode. It was key that we got to see the Jawa shakedown. All right, it's just I love when dots connect. We knew the Jawas had it somehow in Mando S2E1. We got the little flashback how Cobb got it from them, but we still never really knew how they got it. And sure as shit, in true Jawa form, as an individual is laying there suffering and dying, they strip him bare and knock him the fuck out. Like you gotta love, like when he wakes up a little bit and that little guy's like, like, nope, you're going back out, bitch. It's like, damn, Boba had think about Boba's day right there. He started the day in Jabba's palace, flirting with some aliens. Maybe he got a reach around, maybe a little handy action. They go on the barge thinking they're going to have a great party. He's going to watch one of his nemesis get killed. He's going to see Skywalker get killed, Chewbacca killed. He's like, yeah, woo, this is a fucking day to party. Then, Luke walks out there. The plank comes out. He threatens Jabba one more time. Whatever. Move him into position. Then Luke does this. If you're on the live stream, right? He gives the high sign to R2, and we get the dunk, 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 and you're like, oh shit, something's about to happen. This is where Boba Fett's probably going like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have had that extra hit of spice. Shit's about to go sideways here. I may have to get crazy and bust out my blaster, maybe my jetpack, and then Skywalker jumps down, flips back up, grabs his laser sword, starts cutting people up, and that's where he's like, shit! Dude, I gotta go to work today. He's like, I've been drinking spotchka all morning. I just took a hit of spice off of that alien girl's titty, and now I gotta go fight these fuckers. So now we know how he fucked up. He was having too much fun celebrating Jabba's big moment of taking all these heroes that, Boba has tussled with before in the past. And, he was off his game, and that's why he got taken out by a blind guy walking carpet and a Padawan learner Jedi.
Dude, if I was Boba, I see all that shit going down, I'm off the skiff in the other direction. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Like, what do I need this for? I mean, he's like,
it's like, I turned the bounty in. You already had fucking Solo. I'm just hanging out. I don't need some Jedi swinging a sword at me. Yeah. I'm the fuck out of here.
He's like, I'm not getting paid. You got to think about what was his motivation to jump in there and fight. Like, I do not think. I know Boba was Jabba's like top go-to guy to get shit done, but I don't think he was like on the payroll to be a hired a hired guard or hired hand. I mean, he was used to do precise shit for Jabba and bring back the bounties. I mean, even Boba in War of the Bounty Hunters says to the slug, like, motherfucker, don't be so vain with this capture. Like, that's Han Solo. We got him. Take him out. You don't want to fuck with people like Han Solo. And Jabba's like, he's just like, fuck you, dude. I'm going to hang him up on the wall. We're good. So yeah, sorry, a little bit of a tangent there, like plain story time. But yeah, that's how I envisioned his day was going. Then he ends up in the Sarlacc pit's gut, knocked out. Wakes up hours later. He's woozy. He has to go suck on a melting stormtrooper's oxygen pipe, and then he has to light himself on fire. And then, after he kills the fucking thing, he has to crawl so many feet through sand to come out like a zombie rising from the grave, laying there, 2 suns beating down on him. Just as things look like they might get okay, right? The suns go down, it's nighttime, he can kind of relax a bit, it's not as hot. Fucking Jawas show up and strip him dry and then knock him out again with the butt of their rifle. I mean, that could be one of the worst days for any Star Wars character of all time. I mean, outside of...
Yeah, ever.
I mean, we can't even say Anakin's turn was a bad day because we have to assume that multiple days kind of carried out after he decided to switch to the dark side. But for our friend Fett here, in one day's time, he went from being the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy to getting robbed by Jawas and knocked out.
It's a bad turn. Yeah, Anakin really only had one moment, the high ground, that fucked him. Other than that, he was having a pretty good day.
He was living his best life, killing kids, fucking wiping out separatists, killing other Jedis.
Choked his wife to death.
Yeah, he's having fun. He was embracing that new power.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Boba Fett.
This guy, fucking rough day.
Like you said, man, I mean, the line in Mando, and I know I'll butcher it, but, it's something like...
the Dune Sea will change you.
Yeah, the wretched or something. Something about the wretched and being left for dead. And sure as shit, he was. So I did like seeing the Jawas. They are just the dickheads. Like, how could anyone be upset at Din for vaporizing these motherfuckers, for just stripping his entire ship down? And then he had to rebuy it from him by doing a task for him that almost got him killed. I mean, the Jawas could be the most sinister villains. Yes, villains in all of Star Wars. All right? Take it to the bank. Okay, so we've talked about the tribe that finds him. I was off a little bit on this. I guess I should have figured that the Sand People wouldn't take too kind to an outsider, even if the outsider was near death and needed some, slug jizz to come back to life.
That was funny.
But man, they were rough. I mean, they treat him like a true prisoner of war. I mean, I imagine...
You see, the thing is like, at that, but like what I was thinking is like, well, why did you take him? Like, what's the, like, now you have this guy, like, you're a traveling band of nomad Tuskens that already have a hard enough time taking care of yourself. Like, what's the benefit to them of taking him? Because if all you're going to do is tie the motherfucker up and beat him, well, like, there's no point.
I know what you mean. I think the only thing we can say from what we saw, at least, is they're essentially used for slaves. Right? I mean, they were bonded, chained, and by a little kid, in fact, that brought him out to the Dune Sea, showed him like, hey, look, these people are fucking people up, just in case we need to know that for a future episode. But yeah, now get to work, motherfuckers. Get on your knees and dig. So I guess it's labor until they die, right? But in Boba's case, it looks like, at least with what happens, he proves his worth. And I think by episode 2 in the flashbacks, he's going to go from getting kicked, spit on, and beat with gaffy sticks to kind of being brought into the fold a bit more. Maybe they'll give him the robe finally that we saw him in. But yeah, I didn't. I guess I didn't expect and this is my bad because Sand People they need to be ruthless. That's their lifestyle, especially with outsiders. But man, just terrible. They're like, fuck you. Tied him up. His ass is getting dragged behind banthas.
I was say, they dragged him. This kid is literally like, while he's chained, just beating him with this little stick. I'm like,
just like, the kid comes out and you're like, oh, the kid, he's gonna be, just look at it and be curious. No, he just comes out and starts beating the shit out of him. Then you have like a whole gangbang starts to happen. Then they all just start stomping on him,
fucking beating the crap out of him. I mean, it was wild.
But notice, he did not kill the kid when he had a chance to. So he was already being changed from his experience in the pit and then getting captured. So it's already happening here. to our. I mean, he looks like Powder Fett right now, right? Anyone ever see Powder? That's what he look. That or like Edward Scissorhands with no hair. That was the other thing I got.
Yeah. Dude,
So
that milky white.
Obviously, him killing that Harryhausen creature. I still don't know if it has a name. I didn't go look if it got official, but at least through Wednesday of last week, it was known as a sand creature. And when I saw it, the first thing I thought was that's a fucking Harryhausen thing. And if people don't know, was it Ray Harryhausen? He's like the godfather of stop motion visual effects. I mean, he did a lot of the with Jason and the Argonauts, like real old shit, like those skeletons fighting people. I mean, he's the guy that got people like George Lucas excited for what they could do with miniatures and special effects. Yeah, so I feel like that was a direct nod, but clearly Boba doing what he did and kicking that thing's ass and saving what I believe is I'll just call him the prince of this tribe. It was huge. I mean, you saw how excited that little I love that moment when that little fucker's run across the dune sea like, ooh, ooh, ooh. He's like, look what he's like he got his first 15-point buck or something. He's like, ooh, ooh. But he didn't steal all the clout. He didn't.
Nope.
He's like, yeah, he picked me up, and you could see him kind of miming. And he's like, ooh, ooh, pointing to Boba, and that's when the dad. And you gotta love the dad. Still won't look at fucking Boba Fett, but just kind of like beers him like that. Just
I was gonna say he hands him a beer.
Yeah, he's like,
here you go.
Here's your beer, buddy. Miller time. That was the fucking Miller time right there. I loved it. So clearly this clan of Sand People, they are different from what we've seen, but they are going to have a major, and they've already had an impact on Fett going forward. Okay, that's why he wants to be the crime lord and not just an ass kicker anymore. There's that creature again. Who else? Nick, I don't know. Obviously we talked about that leak, and it's who knows what's going to happen. But we heard about is Boba's riding on a Rancor. So when you saw the Rhodian uncover that lizard skin, were you like, "Uh-oh, is this it? Is this the moment?"
Like at first, I was like, "Is this the Rancor?" But even before it popped out, I was like, "There's no way," because like the Rancor is so big. I don't know how
it would have had to been like even smaller than Mushi was in Bad Batch.
If it was either super small or this thing had dug its way deep into the sand. Right. I was like, if that's what it is, then we're about to see this huge reveal.
So, hear me out here. Do you think then this is what the leak was about? Or is this more foreshadowing for the fact that Boba Fett is none too scared to jump on the back of a raging beast and ride it or kill it if need be?
I think it's probably foreshadowing, unless like somebody was really fucking with these leakers, which it kind of seems like people who work at LFL and Disney are starting to do. Yeah. Like they're just starting to throw bullshit out there, and they're like, they'll eat it up regardless of what we put out. So maybe somebody legitimately just did say like, I'm just going to fuck with this guy and tell him he's riding a Rancor. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, so this is almost like pretty close to the image that the leaker had drawn.
The only difference, clearly he's not on a Rancor, and he's not in his armor.
So that's it. So I mean, maybe it is. It could be a good bit of foreshadowing where he, in the present timeline, he will. Hop on the back.
It could definitely go either way, because obviously when this was shot, he's not riding on the back of any of these beasts because they're not real. So whoever saw it could have just saw him on a big rig or the stunt guy on a rig, and they're like, well, shit, that. They put like lizard hands on the rig just to give the actor some reference. That's got to be a Rancor. Yeah. So and then they leak it out. But if the leak is true, which was fairly detailed to the point to where SWNN paid an artist to essentially recreate the image they saw, then the foreshadowing side of the coin kind of comes into play.
Yeah. So I think so. I think we'll end up seeing him on a Rancor. I mean, you would have to imagine like he knew that Jabba had a Rancor. He knew that there was a Rancor pit for him to keep a Rancor in case he wanted his own. So like that's probably pretty high on his list. He's like, all right, I got the palace. I'm a crime lord now. I got my captains in line. Now I need my Rancor.
And we still have that one moment from one of the trailers where we see him and Fennec, and it feels like the the throne was moving back into place after dropping someone down the grates. So yeah. And after his first foray in Mos, how about that? That city, we were all like, oh, what the fuck is this? It was Mos just Espa. Mos Espa. I mean, I know Tones was all pissed off, but I think he eventually, he was breaking out like maps and shit from old canon stuff. Like, look, the palace is here, Mos Espa's here. It's like, I love that type of diehard mentality. But if you listen, I think Garza says like, oh, you shouldn't have come such a long way by yourself. So I guess maybe he did take a long trip to get there, and it is Mos. But anyways, it is Mos Espa, and the mayor rules Mos Espa and the plateaus of Mos Espa. So I just wanted to get that out there. The Miller time moment. I did like that. You gotta like that. Like the chieftain is still not ready to give him full respect yet, but knowing that he single-handedly killed whatever the fuck that thing was, he's definitely like, all right, dude, you can have some water. Why not? It was pretty fun. Here's
a sip. It's like, you don't get a cloak yet. You don't get a gaffy stick yet. Here's a little bit of water. Once you kill a few more things, then we'll give you everything else.
All right. So some other interesting information we got, at least to people like me. We learned that the mayor's name is Moke Shays. Moke Shays. So that's what the Ithorian is called. The Twi'lek is Moke Shays' major domo, as we learned. And I did kind of like this scene, where this guy is, like, oh yeah, tribute and sorry, but oh yeah, by the way, you need to fucking pay us. And this is like,
and then Boba was like, what?
Huh?
Like, I don't think, he was so confused that I was like, this is a good like that was one of my favorite moments from it for sure, was just that exchange between those two.
Yeah, well, because Fennec's like, should we just fucking kill the guy? And Boba's like, no. You can clearly tell that Boba knows about the mayor and what the mayor could get into, because he's like, we don't want to get into that fucking hornet's nest yet. But then Fennec's like, our tribute to the mayor is that you get to leave unmolested. Like, you're not gonna die. So this clearly sets up the mayor, at least early on, as kind of being the early antagonist, and that's just what we heard months ago. I mean, we're talking. Hell, dude, it may have been 6 months, 7 months at this point. I think it was last spring when some extra was on a set and just kind of remembered what he saw. And he's like, listen, Boba Fett early on kind of goes up against this hammerhead looking character. So is Moke Shays tied to Crimson Dawn? I don't know. But he clearly does not want Boba Fett to come into power, and was more than likely the one that sent the Maroon Goons after him, which, Nick and I were kind of spinning our tires on before we saw the episode. Now I think it's a lot more clear that this is going to be his early big time challenge is going to be from the mayor.
Yeah.
You also got to love how they went hard on this samurai terminology, just to kind of, go all the way back to George Lucas's initial motivations to make Star Wars. Was a lot of the samurai era stuff. I love that he's known as Lord Fett, and he's a daimyo, which is essentially a super high up warlord that's just under the shogun. So I mean, I just, and major domo this, and all the other, what were they calling them, the other daimyos or the other bosses. That was all. I just like that goofy shit. We finally learned who Jennifer Beals is playing. It's Lady Fwip, Garza Fwip, who seems to be running a casino, or as Bat calls it, a brothel / casino. She did look fantastic. I mean, this lady's like pushing 60 in that Twi'lek get up with long nails. I mean, please, that's like, just give me a porno of this right here. That's all I need.
Matt's already got. He's like commissioning artists. He's like, I need you to draw something for me.
Hook it up. Hey. Yeah. So the gang symbol. Obviously, this is something we all need to pay attention to. At this point, I'm still thinking this Nikto gang is going to predominantly be in the flashback narratives, and I do think they're going to do something which is going to be the impetus for Boba to be like, fuck you. And that's why we see the Tashi Station beatdown and whatnot. And they very may well be what kind of kicks him in the butt to start moving on from the pack. But I'm thinking now, Nick, that his impetus for leaving the Sand People may be the fact that he sees a Mandalorian show up on planet. And I still think you nailed it with the Grogu and Din in the Book of Boba Fett. More so now than 2 weeks ago when I think you first brought it up. Because I think it's gonna pop up in one of the flashback moments, and that is gonna be his impetus for getting the Slave One back finally. After he heals Fennec, and maybe he gets a tip off in town, like, "Yo, there's a Mando," like we've said, and he kind of tracks them all the way to Mos Pelgos, and then he sees the armor, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Then he watches Din get it back, and that's when he's like, "All right, it's time to make my move."
Yeah.
I don't know if the Sand People are dead at this point, but there's a part of me that feels like his clan, these black robe wearing Tuskens, may not fare well in the flashbacks, and their demise or whatever happens to them, maybe it's just the boy gets killed and that's enough for Boba to lose it. I think that's when he's like, all right, I need to get back and clean this shit up. I can't have these gangs just going crazy on Tatooine and the Outer Rim anymore because, Jabba's gone and you got this fat ass Bib just sitting there letting them do whatever the fuck they want. I need to control this so they don't fuck with people I appreciate anymore.
Yeah, I think that's like the progression of his relationship with these Tuskens is going to be very key, because I can see it going two ways, where it's like now he's starting to gain respect as time goes on. Like he becomes essentially like a member of their clan.
I'm telling you, man, like you said, Last Samurai or Dancing with Wolves, it's the same thing. Like they assimilate into the culture and both benefit from each other. I think that the Tuskens are clearly already benefiting from Boba's skill set, and Boba's benefits are going to come from, think about it, being with a family. And I think that's why this episode opens with him thinking about his birthplace and his dad. Boba's had no one since his dad was killed. Yeah, in the Clone Wars, he was hanging around with other degenerates. But even then, he was Boba Fett. He still was a bounty hunter doing his own thing. He still was going to do what was best for Boba. And I think being with these Tuskens, there's going to be a bond that clearly is going to form between him and the child. I mean, come on, that's like plain as day. And I do think a tragedy is going to take place, which is going to really reaffirm this new Neo-Fett that, all right, I need to do something. Enough of this shit. Yeah. I need to get my fucking armor back wherever it's at. It's got to be on this planet somewhere. And I need to take charge and kind of clean up the crime world so it's not fucking with these people out in the desert. And
it like that whole mission, like if that does come to fruition, is just so out of character for what people would recognize Boba Fett to be. Like, him literally like going out of his way to get vengeance on somebody who didn't really wrong him. Like if they killed the kid, or if they like took out this band of nomads, of nomad Tuskens, like old Boba Fett would probably be like, well, fuck it. Like, I didn't know these people anyway. Like, yeah, they got me back on my feet eventually after they beat me, but like, I don't owe anything to them. To now going to possibly they fucked up, or like they killed this kid, they kidnapped this kid, whatever. Now I need to go and seek retribution. Yeah. Which is a big step for him in his development towards being more than just like a lone wolf bounty hunter. And you could see in that moment is when he decides, like, again, like with Fennec, like he didn't need to stay. Fennec could have just been dead in the fucking in the desert. Like he didn't need her. Like he found her there and was like, okay, probably first thing that comes to his head is like, okay, you probably know who this other Mandalorian is, so I'll save you for that. But it's also like, I just left a situation where like I essentially had a family and now I don't have anybody.
I do think that is going to be a main theme, is this kind of quasi family unit that he's going to form with these Tuskens. And that is ultimately what is going to, and what we've seen, shape the Boba Fett that showed up in The Mandalorian season 2. Who wasn't a guy that you just have to worry about disintegrating everyone at the drop of a hat. He had a little more, and we saw it. I mean, we I don't want to call it the softening of Boba Fett, because I mean he's still He still used a rocket to blow up a lone individual in this episode. I mean, come on. They talk about overkill. And he's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I fucked up the first time and shot it right into his shield. I'm not going to miss with this second shot. And he just blows that dude to smithereens.
To pieces, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he, even in Mando, once he understood what Din was up to and why Din had the armor and Grogu, he's like, you know what, motherfucker? We're going to throw in with you. We owe you now. You got me my armor back. I respect you for that. Here's my chain code. Watch my dad dance at Disney. And, you know, I'm going to help you out until we get your kid back. And then after that, he's like, all right, now it's time to enact Crime Lord Phase 1.
Yeah. So to kind of close this out,
yeah,
do you think that people, like the hardcore fetters from like back in the day, do you think that this series is ultimately going to make them like Fett more, or is this going to be like put them off of Fett? Because you can clearly see that like that commenter said, you know, a couple weeks ago, like, I just want him to be the badass bounty hunter that he was before, and that's clearly not going to happen. So how do you think this is going to affect the Boba Fett fandom?
Like, people that aren't 100% stable in life and like really get worked up over little things in Star Wars, I do think it's going to bother them big time. I'm talking about, like, you know, we all like to say that they're just fringe Star Wars fans, but I don't know. I'm starting to think that the majority of Star Wars fans are just toxic. But I do think the crowds that hate everything Disney and blame everything KK are going to jump on that for sure. Like, you ruined Boba Fett. You made him old and a pussy. He was only blowing people up with rockets instead of melting their faces and their armor. And I still don't get where they get all this shit from unless they were reading comic books or expanded universe. Because you know my version of Fett before Mando in the Book of Boba Fett is he's a toolbox. He's like furniture in a room. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't fucking talk. He doesn't do shit. He literally doesn't do shit but fall in a Sarlacc pit. So, yeah. The quick answer, yes. There is going to be a swath of Boba Fett fanboys and girls that are probably going to be put off on what happens to the character in this series. 100%.
Yeah. I think it's going to be hard to avoid that. I mean, it's the same kind of thing that I felt about the Solo movie when it came out. Because, I mean, we talked about it before it released, and I was like, this is probably the most dangerous thing that they've done so far, because you're taking an established character and you're essentially, you know, you're telling new stories, and that's always going to bring backlash with fan bases because everybody has preconceived notions, or they cling on to you know, stuff that they made up for the character, and then when that doesn't come to fruition, it gets very hard for them. That's the big
problem, man. I mean, it's like, and I think I experienced it with the prequels. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I mean, I get my fucking balls up my butt sometimes over Star Wars stuff that I had wrote in my head that doesn't play out the right way. But no, that is it. I mean, I think that's where most of it comes from these days, is like, no, I'm right. What they did was wrong. And now I'm just going to be pissy and shit on everything. And I don't know. I'm trying not to live my Star Wars life that way anymore.
Yeah. It's hard to do that. Like, I could understand if there was like big retcons that this show did or something like that based off of, like, you know, what like active storylines are. But I don't feel like that happened. I mean,
no.
Yeah, you can always look back on like the expanded universe novels and stuff like that, but ultimately, you know, they're not drawing references from those legacy, or what is it called? They're called Star Wars Legends, not legacy. Like, you know, you can use that, and we've seen, you know, John and Dave and other creators use pieces of Star Wars Legends and in the shows and stuff now, but ultimately, like, if you're going to have somebody like Robert Rodriguez come in and essentially, you know, build a whole show around a character like Boba Fett, you have to give him the ability to erase some of those things and come up with new stories and different ways of how this character can grow and progress. Because, I mean, up and through the EU, like, he was a bounty hunter all the way like until he died, essentially. Like he was a bounty hunter when fucking Ben Solo and Jaina Solo or not Ben Solo, I mean Ben Skywalker and Jason Solo and Jaina Solo were like Jedi. So he was still doing the same shit. And then, you know, now we're getting a different version of Boba Fett that shows a little bit more growth beyond just like, yeah, I'm still a bounty hunter. So I mean, it's,
put him in the cargo hold.
Yeah, like I kind of enjoy that they're taking him in a different direction, because it would have been too easy for him to just pop out of the thing and be like, all right, back in the Slave One, bounty hunting again.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
I'm all for this Renaissance period for Boba Fett. I mean, it more so than just the character. Again, I like the world building that these shows are doing for all of Star Wars, not necessarily just the titular character all the time. It's the little stuff. It's getting the flashback. All right, now we know the Sarlacc. Good, check. That was great. Seeing even the stuff with the Tuskens and how those interactions are probably what led to him changing his ways a bit. I'm all for that type of stuff. So I'm good to go. In terms of what I think we're going to see this week, let's break out the crystal ball. I think the episode's going to start on a flashback again, because he's technically still in the tank unless they just progress time a little bit. And I guess the other opening shot I could see is Fennec walking the Maroon Goon back that we've seen. Either way, I think at least the present timeline content we get in episode 2 is going to be all that stuff with the mayor. I think Fennec comes back with the captive. They decide that they have to go and fucking see this guy in person, because clearly, he didn't send a tribute. They didn't pay tribute back. There's already bad blood forming. The mayor already tried to fucking kill Fett and Fennec. So I think this is where we get he brings the captive back, and we get the smoking gun, and, maybe there's a little shoot 'em up in the mayor's place after all. In the flashbacks, I could see us getting the Tashi Station beatdown, because he's still, in those scenes we saw from the trailer, he was still wearing the jumpsuit and looking pretty run down. He did not have his robes on yet, his nomad robes, none of that shit. So I do think we're probably going to get a little more present timeline in episode 2 than we did in episode 1, and it's going to solely focus on pushing the narrative forward between Boba and the mayor, and how are they going to coexist as leaders of factions in Mos Espa? Is this where we learn the mayor's working for CD? Is he just a CD puppet and he doesn't know he's working for CD? Who knows? But I do think, at least from the trailer moments, this is where we get to see probably the Gamorrean guards get shot down at the mayor's place. Those other guards that we tied to the mayor himself, what's his name? Moke Shays.
Moke Shays.
Yeah. So that's where I think we're going in episode 2. So Tashi Station beatdown flashback, plus some stuff we haven't seen, the major stuff, the big stuff, as Robert called it. And then present timeline will be spent on Boba and Fennec confronting the mayor for his shenanigans.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we do get the Tashi Station beatdown, like what spurs that on, because that would seem like that's probably what pushes him to be like full tribe member. Is like, okay, he went out and did something for us. He avenged either a death, or he took, made sure that these guys won't fuck with us anymore. And this is what gets you your black robe and your Yankee stick.
Yeah, because we can't.
So something has to happen before he gets to Tashi. Something has to happen that instigates that moment to happen.
Yeah, or he just rolls up on it. And because did you feel like when the child showed him what was going on at that moisture farm, you could almost see in Boba's face that he didn't like it.
Something was already.
Yeah, he wasn't like going to go try to be a hero. He's not stupid, but he I just felt watching it that it did not sit well with him. Even all the shady shit he did, he did not like the fact that just a regular person was getting beat down by a gang of shitheads. Yeah,
for no reason. Like, I know it's not like a perfect comparison, but like, if really nothing happens to the Tuskens that spurs on him going to Tashi and beating down this gang, then it's almost like prison rules, where it's like, I have to show you how badass I am right up front, right, so I just get respect.
They give him a sharpened spork, and they're like, "Have at it, bro." Yeah. You remember when little was showing you these fuckers? Yeah, they're a problem. Go take care of it.
Yeah. So then that's like he makes his bones off of the fucking
because I don't know
gang.
Because I think at this point we can't speculate that he is going to Tashi and Anchorhead to get away, because he already said in episode 1, like, hey, I can get us to Anchorhead and get us off world. He's not then gonna go there just looking to beat the shit out of people in his jumpsuit after he made inroads with the Tuskens by killing the sand creature. Like, I don't feel at this point he is now looking to escape. It's almost like I could see in episode 2 here where you see him accepting his current fate and kind of embracing the fact that, you know what, I'm gonna kind of enjoy being detached from the galaxy, because he was a galactic character. He was bounty hunter or not, he was known throughout the galaxy by every major faction, and he had mad respect. He was a player in the galaxy, whether he was a bozo or not in the original trilogy. So he could just be like, this is nice, I need this, it's giving me that sense of family, it's giving me a peace I've been looking for. I still feel like shit physically and mentally because of the horrific encounter I had with a Sarlacc pit. So he decides on his own to just kind of live with these people. But I still think something major is going to have to happen to this tribe to, or maybe it is seeing another Mando to kind of get him thinking like, all right, well, what can I do now? Now that I am a better version of myself, what can I do to either help the people that help me, or to, like we are sort of speculating here, get a little vengeance for people that helped me then got fucked by shitheads. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good setup episode. It wasn't something like, Mando S1E1 where you get the fucking huge drop. There was no wow moment like we said up front, but I think it does a good job of setting up like, potential areas to where the character can go. And, we can kind of start to see a little bit of what's in the future for Boba Fett at the end of I guess the further 6 episodes of the series. And I think we have at minimum, if the episodes stay tiny, which I hope they don't. I really, cartoons are fantastic at 30 minutes or less. Live action, I don't like it. Like, unless it's a sitcom and you go through the formula from start to finish. Little jaunts of live action, I'm not a huge fan. It's like by the time you settle in, the fucking awesome concept art is scrolling across the screen. It's like, all right, well,
it's like, oh wow, it's
7 more days to see what happens next, I guess. Hey, like 16shooter saying down there, if you are watching the live stream, give us a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on notifications if you have not already done so. I got good news for everyone. Bad news for Nick or I, but we were fired from Manscaped, so no more reads. I didn't even tell Nick yet. I was saving it for the show. We got the boot last week. Apparently, no one used our code during December at all during like a Prime shopping season. So we
it's like weird though, because they had like, it's hard to like justify that when they had a 20% off sale running on the site the whole month.
Right.
So why would anybody use our code? It doesn't stack. But hey, that's all.
It is what it is. Hey, we love Manscaped. No shit talking here. But hey, if you don't perform, things happen.
Get the boot.
I understand it more than anyone trying to make a place for myself on the web. You gotta you got to come through or that's it. They'll pull the plug quick. So we don't have to worry about any more promos for at least the next few months, I think. She said she may revisit it down the road after some of you knuckleheads may run out of your supplies.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, there we go. That is the full SWTS breakdown of the Book of Boba Fett S1E1. It was a little bit longer than I thought we'd go, but I think it was a good detailed discussion that should have some people thinking about what is next in the Book of Boba Fett. And luckily, for some of you, it's only a few hours away. For people like me, it's over 12, not much further. Last week, even in all my debauchery, my body still was like, it's a fucking new Star Wars show day. You're getting up at 4:45, and it just like I just pop up. I'm like, Star Wars, and go down to the basement and get to it. So all right. Okay, that's really all we had. I mean, in between the break when we took our week off, we did get the reveal from Hot Toys that there is going to be a Fennec Shand, and yes, she looks beautiful. Already got her pre-ordered, and just as things usually go with Sideshow, I got my $20 off coupon, I think 12 hours after I pre-ordered her with no coupon. So thanks,
they
Sideshow.
do that on purpose.
Big fucking help, pal. I know, of course. I mean, that's all ad algorithm built in. They're like, oh, this shithead bought something Star Wars. Now we'll send him a code for more Star Wars, even though he just paid us all his money for said Star Wars. But she's out there, a little pricey at $270, but you got to add her if you're a nut like me. You got to get that wave. And it really is a good looking Ming-Na Wen figure. I mean, let's be real. It's Ming. It's not Fennec. So, and she really was. I mean, it kind of. I know we're trying to get away from Book of Boba Fett, but Ming-Na is she's fantastic as Fennec Shand. I love it. I don't know. There could be a point in time where, do you think her and Boba ever get pissy at each other, or does she maybe go behind his back if he isn't getting tough as fast as she wants? Could you see?
I think
a schism.
I could see like Fennec being the one to like incite more aggressive tactics because she's already doing it. In the first episode, she's already like, "Hey, like, are you sure? I mean, you don't want me to like fucking."
Well, you saw at the end when she starts running and Boba knows, he's like, "Man, I just got a few too many volts in my kidneys." Yeah. He's like, "I'm good. I gotta go back to my bacta tank and take a shit." And as soon as she starts running, he goes, Fennec!
He's like, alive.
Yeah. And that was the best one. Fuck, she captures two of them. She's like, you know what? I don't need two of you, and just kicks the one fucker right off the roof. Yeah. And, it was beautiful. Yeah. So anyways.
I could see some early like tension already kind of like.
Could you see her end up backstabbing him in the end?
I don't know about backstabbing him, but I can see her being like, hey, man, like, I know that you went into this with this idea of like, you're going to be this benevolent crime lord, but you're still a crime lord.
Right.
And there's still people out there that want to fucking kill you. So maybe you don't be, so light on shit and start to be a little bit more heavy handed. Like, you don't need to be like Jabba, where you're some fat slob who just has everybody else do stuff. But you also don't need to be like a fucking Jedi where it's like, okay, well, let's capture him and let's have a conversation. And, like find a good middle ground between a piece of shit that doesn't do anything and somebody who's just too nice to people. Like you need to still have this hard line in you, which we haven't really seen it yet. I mean, I know that we've only had 30 minutes of content, but it is still kind of weird that he is taking a little bit more of a measured approach towards things. So I think she may try to pull out the violence.
It's his time with the Wild Hunt. They do kind of look like the Wild Hunt, don't they? From The Witcher, all black.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Witcher, did you fire up season 2?
I've watched episode 1 so far. I haven't gone any further, but that is going to be like a me solo show because The Witcher is just something that Taylor cannot get into.
No, see, I somehow tricked my wife into digging it. She in fact, I've had to rewatch episodes 2, 3, and 4 because over these 2 weeks, when we'd throw on a show for us around these days is like 10. Yeah, your old friend had 2 or 3, 4 beers in him at that point, maybe a little puffy, And I'd be, I lay there and she, rubs my head and I'm just fucking out of it. Like as soon as that starts happening, I'm like, this is dead. And I'll wake up in a scene and pretend like I haven't been sleeping. She's like, I saw you. You were fucking out for like 10 minutes. You missed this, and this. I'm like, fuck. Because I hate that. I hate watching something and because, I have things in my system that I'm not really watching it. You know what I mean? Like you're watching it, but you're not. Like, I don't like admitting this to people, but Christmas Day, Nick.
Yeah.
I had to ask my family if we ate dinner. And I cooked the fucking dinner. Okay? Nice. And you people are like, oh, well, you probably drank it. That's the thing. I didn't even drink that much. I mean, I think I had a couple beers and I think I had a Bloody Mary, but it was nothing crazy. It wasn't like I was just sitting there all day pounding drinks. But there is a defined moment on Christmas Day where my brain just turned off.
Just shut off.
I think I should be a little scared of this and not like joke about it. But I remember cooking the fillets and bringing them in, and that's it. And my mom, my wife, they're like, yeah, you just be like laying on the couch and pop up and. We were watching Encanto. You stopped it and rewinded half of it because I guess you thought you missed some of it. And then she said, I kept asking, did we eat yet? Did we eat yet? And it's like, what a fucking loser. Like I woke up Sunday, I'm like, I am a fucking loser, but I wasn't hungover. I didn't feel blacked out. My brain just turned off. So
yeah. I mean, that happens sometimes. Joe says skip the Matrix. You skip the part of the podcast where both Matt and I like
I don't know, Klondike. I kind of dug it. I've actually seen it twice.
We both enjoyed the Matrix.
I enjoyed it. So. I like the fact that they tortured Neo by making him a game designer
that made the Matrix.
Yeah, that essentially just like his game was the first 3 movies. It was fantastic stuff. Yeah. All right, so Fennec. Okay, well, it's time for the fan segment, everyone's favorite segment, including these Russian scumbags that keep coming into the live stream and dropping in some weird poisonous code. I mean, this is like coming.
You are a wrench. Throw the ban.
They've been doing. Joe's been doing all right. He's been wiping them out. I was doing it earlier before the wrenches showed up. But yeah, so the fan segment. This one is probably gonna be a little bit longer than usual because I was surprised by this. Nick, Joe, you're not wrong. The ending there was a little wonky of Matrix.
Yeah,
the ending, as we say in the biz, it was a little bit of a soft landing. It wasn't. Like the whole climax and the way it was resolved, yeah. And then the very end, I get you. But for the most part, I think it honored what came before and told a decent story in the present. But anyways,
agree.
Fan segment. We do it every show. We're one of the only stupid Star Wars podcasts out there that chooses to incorporate the fans of their show into the show. So every week we do a fan segment here at the end. Best way to get involved really is being looped into our Instagram account at Star Wars Time Show on IG. We do the question of the week every Tuesday, which I will put on Instagram, and you can reply via stories or comments. And then we obviously are one of the main Star Wars toy photography and art feature pages out there. So use hashtag Star Wars Time Show in these days until Meta gets whatever out of their ass and fixes that fucking notification system in messages. I almost want to say stop tagging us, but I'm not. So tag at Star Wars Time Show, hashtag Star Wars Time Show for a chance to be in the top 5, which Nick went above and beyond. I really was surprised by this. I thought he was just going to say, fuck you to all you people last week. But he went ahead and did a top 10. We got a top 10 coming at you. So we got
kick off the 2022.
That's right. We've got an expanded top 5. And because Nick did more toy features, I added a few more comments from the question of the week. So again, question of the week and then our top 5. So let me pull up the screen for everyone so we can see. My job is easy these days for question of the week because I just have to rehash some Boba Fett stuff. What's going on here? Browser window go away. Oh, Slack, you don't want to... Hold on, we got to... Sometimes we got to fire up the go machine when things aren't working here.
Jedi Knight Inside just joined the live stream.
All right.
Spoiler alert, he may be included in the end segment at some point.
Oh, yeah. Jedi Knight Inside's doing some great stuff. Lots of. I like where the mind's at. The creative mind is at on this one. But before we get into honoring our top 10 Star Wars featured artists, let's go ahead and deal with the question of the week, which, like I said, is very easy these days when we have some Star Wars content to consume. I'm just going to ask all of you, hey, what'd you feel about it? Although these days, I guess this is a little clickbaity or leading you, but I asked, what was your favorite or least favorite moment from the Book of Boba Fett Episode 1? And yeah, I know I shouldn't add negativity into the question, but considering how Star Wars fans flock to clickbait and negativity in general, I figured why not try to troll for a few more comments. So I opened it up to let people shit on the show as well.
There you go.
Okay.
Shitting on stuff is our main thing.
Yes, that is becoming an American pastime these days, is being angry.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take a few of these first ones. Klaatu. We haven't seen Klaatu in a while. Fave moment was the escape from Sarlacc, 8D8 and Max Rebo, even though Rebo looked a bit odd. Least favorites, they went for the 2 for 2. The Gamorrean look design and the fighting scenes. Also wasn't sure about Ludwig Göransson's theme music this time.
Okay.
A lot of people got gripes with the Gamorreans, and I'm not gonna lie, it is weird, like how they go from being short, stocky pigmen to like tall, beer belly, not even bodybuilder guys. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've only ever seen like 3 Gamorrean guards ever, so I don't want to say like they all have to look exactly the same.
Enough.
I mean, like,
true enough.
It's like if you looked at a fucking human, like the first time an alien sees a human and it's fucking Yao Ming, and they're like, well, everybody must be 7'1" and
that's
Chinese.
A good point. That's a good point. I think Nick just cleared it up for all of us, at least for me. So thank you, Sir Nick.
Yeah.
Lima 4 Photos has a good one here. My favorite, having a new Star Wars show to watch. My least favorite, some goddamn fans calling the whole series a bust just because the first episode wasn't to their lofty expectations. Just let things play out, okay? Sorry, we have to.
Lima, why are you being so logical and measured?
Remember, if you're new to the fan segment in the question of the week, at least when I read, I try to bring out the tone that the message was written in. When Nick reads,
we'll read all of your typos as well.
Yeah. Some of my favorite moments from the show are listening to Nick try to read some of the shit you guys vomit up as comments. Jason B. Michael, look at this. I liked all of it, but I do feel the fight scene was clumsily filmed. Rodriguez is normally better at cutting action together. Hear, hear.
It's very true. Very true.
All right, Nick,
I'll take these.
You take these away now.
All right, South P24 says, probably the wrist rocket was my favorite moment. Least favorite was the night scene on Tatooine when he runs away. His running itself was funny, and the volume was very noticeable, almost like the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yeah, we brought that up. The running scene was definitely...
It's rough, man. Like, it's like if I was Tem, I would call up and be like, yo, you guys got to fucking cut that, because I look like an asshole.
How do you not... Yeah, it's like, how do you not ask for another take of that? Like, if you're Robert, did you just be like, all right, seen him running, one shot, move on? Did you not even look at it? Like,
yeah, or use the stunt double. Like, I don't want to poke fun at Tem, but I mean, he looked like he had a broom up his ass running. Like, it looked like he was like squeezing a diarrhea in. Like, ooh. Like, if I unpucker my brown eye, this stuff is coming out in this suit. But oh well, we're through it.
All right. Next one, SW Prop says, least favorite moment was pretty much the fact they didn't have a good start to the series. Ooh. Chapter 1 is supposed to grab your attention like a book does on the first page. It didn't. It was so embarrassing, and the only good thing about it being this bad is it can only go up from here. Bosk and Cad, let's go. P.S. Ming-Na was the only good thing about Chapter 1. Can't throw her in with the rest of the averageness.
Justin.
Whoa.
I mean, he's coming in with a fucking wrecking ball here.
I know. He's like, fucking start it over. fucking fire Rodriguez, get fucking Filoni out of there. We need fucking new people.
He's going on. I think he's probably going to do a segment on the Mike Zero YouTube channel about like who's getting fired from this episode.
No. Hopefully it can come back. Hopefully episode 2 will be more to your liking, Justin. Next up, Bud Futu with a cameo from SW Props. He says, Bud Futu says, and I still don't understand why have the Gamorrean guards look like Target Halloween costumes. Props comes back and says the whole episode looked like Halloween costumes except for Fennec. And then Bud Futu also says worst part was that they got the Max Rebo character wrong, based it on the Kenner figure rather than the original ROTJ one. Lazy researching their own characters.
Right,
wow. Ripping apart. Everybody hates it. A Star Wars story. He's in here now. He says least favorite. Boba had recently fought a detachment of Imperial stormtroopers with mixed light arms, the equivalent of medium and heavy machine guns and mortars that were there to kill him. Then he gets surrounded by dorks in jumpsuits with shields, and he's less deadly than Wicket.
I love it,
dude. That's look. I agree with you on that. That whole scene, I was like, are you fucking serious? Like he can't like kick him in the leg or shoot him in the foot. Or just like the guy's holding the shield, and I don't think the shield was like, was it electrified? Like I don't remember that, but like push it, like push them away.
No, I mean they
were
doing like it was like old school Spartan warfare where they're just like they boxed them in with shields. It was like
and
they did something similar in Black Panther with their ray shields, right? Where they box everyone in. It's oh well.
But it's also like you have a fucking flamethrower on your arm.
Yeah.
Like just do something
instead of
with that.
shooting a rocket 2 feet in front of you into a shield. Maybe light them on fire or point the rocket at their feet. Or hey, you've got a fucking rocket on your back, bro. Like oh well.
Just take off.
That fight, honestly, that fight is pure. It was purely for the narrative. It was to split them up, get him back in a back to tank so we could have another flashback and so she could catch a goon for episode 2. That's why they did what they did, sadly.
Yeah. If somebody told you that Robert Rodriguez was a master of action and they used that scene to prove it, you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It was bad. It was bad. Even when they were like making contact, it didn't look good. Like my stunt buddy said, he just said the action was trash.
All right. Dis Begro, he kind of jumped in on Star Wars stories. He says, nail meathead. That's exactly what I thought. What happened to that badass on The Mandalorian? R.I.P. All right. Next up. Skeletron Photography says, I think Boba is shown to be a little too weak. He could have easily escaped the assassination attempt using his jetpack. Other than that, I want more. So, okay. So more dislike of the shield scene. Sting, what is it? Stings doesn't it? Isn't it? Stings, doesn't it? Yep, that's it. Damn, that was too hard for me to read. He says, love the scene where he escapes the Sarlacc pit.
No, you read it the wrong way. You read it. You got to go back.
Love the scene where he escapes the Sarlacc pit.
Starlack
pit. Starlack pit. The Starlack.
Yeah, the Starlack. It's a new
one in space.
It's a new species. Yes, a Starlack.
Yeah, it's shaped like a star in the sand. Besides that, I really liked how he was able to take on the sand monster and proves his dominance and skill, and in result earns some respect. Okay, some positivity out of Stings, doesn't it? At the end, at least he likes how he fucking killed the sand monster.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of focus on like, hey, what the fuck was that fighting scene? Yeah. Why was that so fucked up? Obviously, you know, something as egregious as that, like you kind of have to call it out. Like it was very poorly done.
I don't know, man. I mean, you got to think about the minds that approve that, and it's crazy. I mean, fucking Favreau wrote the fucking episode. I mean, Favreau wrote the series. He EP'd it. He was on set. I'm sure Filoni read the notes. I'm sure they watched the dailies. And they're all like, yeah, fuck it. Like I said, hey, it's just
like for someone like Robert Rodriguez, like who literally made makes incredible action oriented movies, to like look at that scene and be like, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Feels weird.
Yeah, it's just like, I wonder who had ultimate sign off on that, or was it like a deadline?
Dude, you could have gotten him.
Was it COVID related?
Yeah.
Who knows?
you could have gotten him in that back to tank in so many different ways, and you chose that. Like, you could have had him like kicking the shit out of these guys, and then he takes like a stray, like a bullet to the back.
Or like actually gets stabbed instead of just, I mean, let's be real. I mean, he is an older man. He probably has internal injuries from the pit and all this other things. This is stuff we're thinking about. But ultimately, they electrocuted him a few times, and he was done. Like, Boba Fett was done. Like, needed to be carried all the way back to the palace by his Gamorreans.
I mean, like, I get a lot of the gripes that people have. One thing I don't like, I understand that, like, you know, we see something one time and like everything has to look like that. Like, you know, that's what the expectation is. But like, that doesn't bother me. Like, the Gamorrean look doesn't bother me because, like I said, like, you don't know what, if you put 100 Gamorreans in a room, do they all look exactly the fucking same? Like,
that's a good point.
There's going to be some variance in how they
and remember,
look,
they established that these are the elite Gamorreans.
Yeah.
These were like Jabba's personal bodyguards that then transferred to Bib, that have now transferred to Boba. So, like you're saying, I know it's not going to make people happy, but there could be a different class of Gamorrean. Yeah. There's like your fodder, like, the ones that you don't care if they fall down the Rancor pit hole, and that, you know, kind of like the bouncers that sit at the door. They're not the most skilled. They just look fat and like you don't want to mess with them. And then you have like the elite warriors that are a little more capable.
Yeah, exactly. So, so thank you all for the responses. I think we had like 30, 40 responses on that. Like I said, man, image. So
you let them get in there and like throw a little hate at Star Wars. They will come. Don't worry.
they're happy to do it. So let's move into,
I think my title for the subsequent breakdowns are just going to be The Book of Boba Fett Episode 2 Sucks Dick. Fuck.
Yeah.
And just see like if that gets more people to click.
Hate it.
Yeah.
So fucking
Disney continues to ruin Boba Fett in Episode 2.
Oh man, but yes, we'll allow you guys to type some hate every now and then.
Have at it. I like,
but you know, but we are allowed to refute what you say.
There you go.
Just remember that if you type some bullshit and we know it's bullshit,
no, we'll call you on it.
We're gonna call you on it. We're gonna call you on it.
Might drag you all over the mat. You never know what type of mood I'll be in. I don't know if we'll ever have the Boba moment of 2020, but you know, I'm not worried to call people out.
Yeah, no, that's all what we do here. All right,
moving on to, and I guess it's kind of fitting that you know we didn't really have an end of a year show or do any of that special pomp and circumstance for the year changing over. I mean, it's us. We don't even do anything special for Star Wars Day, so welcome to the Star Wars Time Show. But Nick did decide to give you artists out there, and again, it's not just toy photography. It could be traditional, as we call real-ass paint, real-ass pencils, real-ass markers, shit like that. You know, you could be like our boy Super Scoundrel and vectoring away. It could be tattooing. It could be cosplay. We've actually had some really cool cosplay sent our ways too. So, anyways, we do this. This is every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I did not miss a single day over the holiday break. I was throwing shit out there. So on Instagram, make sure you're following at Star Wars Time Show if you make a lot of cool Star Wars shit, and it could be shit, literally shit. We've asked for it. We're still waiting for it. We know one of you degenerates might actually do it at some point. But if you make Star Wars content of any kind, stop motion, tattooing, like I said, toy photography, cosplay photography, you name it, at Star Wars Time Show, tag us, use hashtag Star Wars Time Show. Throughout the week, I'll pick some shots that use the tag and I will feature them on the account. And then every Monday night, Nick sits around with his hot toddy and selects the top 5. But this week, because we missed last week, is a top 10. So Nick, let's get to it. Who cracked the end of the year top 10 list of our Star Wars featured artist segment?
The first one is the one that I actually just called out for joining the chat not too long ago. It is at Jedi_Knight_inside, Jedi Knight inside, and he's got an awesome shot of what could have been the dark side Luke Skywalker. It looks like. So you see Luke sitting on the Emperor's throne from the throne room in ROTJ, or the chair, I don't know, whatever, his chair. He's got his father's lightsaber ignited, sitting in the throne. reaching his hand out almost as if to feel the dark side of the Force for the first time. So I thought that was cool that Jedi Knight Inside kind of gives us almost like an alternate ending kind of look towards
that's actually when I look closer, Nick, that is the Skywalker family blade. So we could interpret, at least from Jedi Knight Inside, or Jedi Knight Inside. The vision here is, you know, like you said, this is a what if. Luke took down his dad, took out the Emperor, and just through that hate alone, he's already made his kyber crystal bleed red, right? Yeah. He's already made it bleed.
Yeah.
But no, Jedi Knight Inside, I like what they do. You know, sometimes you'll get elaborate sets, but other times, shots like this, it just, you know, I'm guessing in a dark room somewhere, you get some atmosphere in there and just rely on the lighting and the posing. And, you know, I haven't fucking shot toys in months at this point. It's actually, I'm starting to feel bad. Like, almost like I want to do it again, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, I know, right? You're getting a little passion back.
Yeah, it's like, and you know, I'm kind of looking at the calendar, and I'm losing days off, right? I got the rest of this week and then a few days next week, but I'm still like daddy pickup. So my window to do stuff while also getting in, you know, some Star Wars work and a workout is essentially 7:30 a.m. to 2:20. That's the time that I have at the house by myself. And, you know, after Star Wars time and workout time, I may have 2 or 3 hours to focus on something. Should that focus be on toy photography? Should it be on finally organizing and cleaning up this shithole basement that just has figures strewn everywhere? I don't know, but I do want to get back there. When I see stuff like this from Jedi Knight Inside, it's like, all right, man, you can do it. It doesn't have to be elaborate to be great. Doesn't have to be elaborate to be great. It really is. It's lighting, atmosphere, pose.
Good pose. Yep. And he hit all of them. So at Jedi_Knight_Inside. Awesome work. Thank you for joining the chat as well.
Oh, yeah. Make sure to subscribe if you like, or even if you don't like what you see. We promise you'll either love us or hate us, and it may be good for you. Either or, right? We're yin yang with a lot of people.
That's right. All right, next up is at 529_J. He's been one of my favorite accounts this year, and this one was just another awesome one. So what we see is the Emperor himself. He's walking along the Death Star. He's walking along some sort of Imperial vessel, but he didn't see the caution wet floor sign. Oh no, slips, canes all up in the air. We catch him mid-fall. And then the stormtrooper who's mopping is standing right next to him, looking over. And Matt, I have a feeling that this guy might have been crispy right after. The Emperor gets up.
That's my favorite part, because you can see, not that you can even see the stormtrooper's face, but you can tell the expression is, "I'm dead." I mean, he's literally he's looking at Palpatine, going, "I'm fucking dead. I am dead. I should have put the sign closer to the doorway so he saw it when he was coming through. But now the Emperor, Darth Sidious, just slipped because my dumbass is mopping the Death Star floor." And yeah, it's just the look like, oh shit. Like, this guy is going to fuck me up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great all around. I mean, like, the pose of Palpatine falling is just spot the fuck on.
Yep. No, I mean, dude, 529_J, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, Star Wars humorists in terms of crafting scenes that are funny.
Yeah,
just there's a ton of them. If you check out at 529_J, he's got a ton of them. Just I can think back over 2021 of all the shots we featured, and some made the top 5. So I love the serious Star Wars stuff. You know, the battle scenes and like the 1/6 shooter and Jason B. Michael quality stuff. But there's something about Star Wars humor where it's just like, it speaks to me. It's like,
it does,
it's just fun, like, you know, because Star Wars is a fairly serious franchise if you think about it. And when you see like these serious, especially on the Imperial side, and when you see like these serious characters, these ne'er-do-wells in situations where they look like buffoons, I don't know. It's just it's magic to me.
Dude, that's why like people like Black Series Clips, who's like essentially kind of bringing back the old Robot Chicken Star Wars stuff. I mean, like that shit's so funny because this shot reminds me of Robot Chicken so much. And then also, like, I sent you a YouTube video when we were talking about. Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
And he really did, like, he gets out and he's just doing whatever. Boba Fett essentially has a dream while he's in the pit, in the Sarlacc pit, that he gets out, and it's fucking funny as hell. There's also been a lot of people regurgitating that clip of Patton Oswalt from Parks and Rec, where he essentially lays out the exact means for how Boba gets out of the pit. So it's funny stuff.
It's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. All right. So thank you very much at 529_J. Your stuff is always appreciated in this household. Next up, we have at Intergalactic Raptor bringing in the holiday season with Santa Yoda and then little Grogu elf along with him. So what we see is
R2, Rudolph
Yoda,
R2.
Rudolph
there's
R2.
There's a Porg in there as well now that I see it.
Yeah, the Porg is standing up there with Grogu. So what we see is Yoda dressed in a Christmas sash with his Santa hat on in a sleigh filled with Christmas presents in a bag. Then you have, like I said, little Grogu elf on there with a Porg right next to him. And then who's pulling the sleigh but Rudolph R2D2. And I mean, the scene itself is just so expertly set up. You have Christmas trees, the fake snow, the sled, everything is like put together, done to a T. And it just works so well for like a nice little holiday Star Wars treat from at Intergalactic Raptor.
There was really like the community this year in particular did fantastic work to honor the holidays through their passion for Star Wars. I only featured a few. I think I shared almost all of them, at least to our story, because a lot of them were fantastic, but Intergalactics stood out. I just like the idea and the setup. R2 as the reindeer, Yoda as Santa, Grogu as an elf, and obviously when you throw a Porg in there, it's just a nod to the franchise. I really enjoyed this setup from our buddy Intergalactic _Raptor, who we just talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, with his Kermit family and Yoda family fishing trip shots. So on a roll here. He's
been on fire for sure. All right, next up we have at Johnny 1300, and this shot is just so clean. Like I was scrolling through our feed and I was like, oh, there must be like a Mando something that happened, because I thought it was just a shot from the fucking
It's
show.
A still, man, movie still stuff here.
Yeah, like it's excellent. So what we see is Mando gun raised kind of up at his side, and then right behind him is IG-11 gun raised up to the side. And I mean, this is, like you said, Matt, it's a movie quality type of shot here. I mean, just expertly done from
the lighting, and then I don't know if there's I believe there's some color grading going here, but it does. It has that still quality to it. Right when Din and IG walked into that bunker that they finally got into, and IG's like, I sense a life form, and they find him and he wants to blow him away, and then we know the rest of the story. But it's just, I mean, these are hot toys, and it's the lighting, and then I don't want to speak out of turn because I do not know, but I believe Johnny used some very specific color grading here to kind of give it that cinematic look, at least to the tone of the shot.
Yeah, I mean, awesome work at Johnny 1300. Very, very beautiful stuff. Next up, this one, like, at Tong Wars, if we really wanted to, could probably make the top 5 every week with shots like this, because he's got like this perfect, like, kind of muddy, sandy area where he can go to and just get like perfect golden hour shots.
Him and Ches Picks, like, I think Ches Picks is like northeast coast, so he can make it out to like a very flat, unpopulated beach that just gets killer sunsets and sunrises. But yeah, Tong has like a secret spot too, like Nick said, where you get this like glass still water that provides amazing reflections. But yeah, this a little backstory on this, Nick. This isn't the actual Lego Razor Crest that you can buy in stores. This is someone's MOC that they came up with and then Tong built, I think based on the directions, or he's just using it as a loaner. But this is a fan cooked this up on their own, like a Lego creator. There's no directions.
Yeah,
this was all just, they know what bricks need to be used where, and here we go.
That's fucking
it's
wild.
nuts, man. That is crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, what we're seeing is just the Razor Crest kind of landed on a beach, but it's positioned perfectly to where you get the full reflection of the Razor Crest in the water that it's right by. And then this beautiful kind of like cloudy day with the sun peeking through the clouds right over
the hood,
the top of the crest. I mean, it is a beautiful. I mean, even if the Razor Crest wasn't there, it would be a beautiful environmental shot. But, you know, adding the Razor Crest, catching that perfect reflection off of the water, I mean, it's just top-notch stuff all around. At Tong Wars on IG.
Here.
Always a good follow, for sure. Next up, this is a first-timer here in the top 5. This is at Vic Bazane, Vicbazaine, and it's almost like we're terrible at art types here, so it's almost like
knows what this style is, but it's like Vic almost scratches a character into existence, you know, like just real quick, sharp brush strokes end up somehow forming a great looking Boba Fett holding a Darksaber print.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to describe. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, man, I wonder if like Daz is this like a new style for Daz Tibbles, but Vic Bazine comes in and he's got it's a completely black background, and then like you said, almost like scratched into it is this incredible image of Boba Fett holding the Darksaber. It looks gritty. It looks like
it's
this
very
is like
unique.
an awesome.
Like I have not really seen this specific style of art before, and that's initially what caught my eye. I think Vic got word of us, at least maybe follows Super Scoundrel and saw him tagging, but this was a new tag from Vic, and I'm glad they found us, because I don't know, like Vic, if you end up listening somehow, or you know, Devin, if you're in here, what the fuck style is this? Like we can't even, I don't even know if we can call this real ass paint. It's just like Charlie just got these like black sheets, and if you etch off the black, it reveals color underneath, and there's like, you know, characters and stuff. That's what this feels like to me. I still don't know what the fuck to call it outside of rad.
Yeah, no, dude, it's rad, and Vic has his own storefront here, which is the same site that Super Scoundrel uses, and he sells shirts. And he's got an awesome Christmas Din and Grogu shirt. He's got a Morpheus from, he's got the Lawrence Fishburne Morpheus shirt. He's got an awesome Kylo shirt. I mean, lots of good stuff from him too. So if you want to check out his art store at Vic Bazaine on IG and click that link tree to see his storefront here. He's got some awesome stuff up there. So
this print, this shot just reminded me. Guess what showed up day after Christmas? My Master Effects Darksaber. I'm holding it up right now on the live stream. This is a well-made blade. I know I don't think it's as good as the ones you get at Disney, but the whole hilt is fucking die cast. Like it's metal as hell. Like there's some weight to it. I don't like where they put the buttons. There's like a clash button and I'm stabbing it into steel, so it gets all red and orange button. Yeah, here, let me fire it up. Oh, look at that. That looks great on the live stream. Oh, wow, look at this. It's like we're a real YouTube channel. But it's like right where you want to hold it, so sometimes you're turning the damn blade off. Yeah. See, that's it.
Yeah. There you go.
You got stab through something, you got to hold it.
Yeah.
But no,
man,
this thing's sweet.
The Master Effects line has definitely gotten better.
Do all of them, the ones you just got, Nick, does it require a fucking Allen wrench to put the blade in and out and to charge the battery pack?
No, but some of them do.
Okay, well,
this
one
I do
does,
have
like,
a saber.
I can actually fully take the black blade out and put like another metal piece in here. This little metal piece, there's like it's just like a cartridge that fills it when the blade's not in there. But you have to crank on this thing with an Allen wrench to get it open.
Yeah.
Or to remove the bat. I do like that it's a rechargeable battery pack. That's a nice touch versus, putting double A's in there and forgetting, and years later they explode and you have fucking acid rot in your battery compartment. But all right, sorry, a little bit of a tangent. Vic reminded me with his excellent art that I too now have a Darksaber. All right,
there we go.
Back to
awesome stuff. All right, next up in this top 10 is at Kill Cutter
Real
Photo.
quick before you get into this, did you see what happened to this artist?
Kill Cutter, I know he had an article written.
Yeah, he got picked up by Gizmodo.
Yeah,
like a whole 15-shot feature on Gizmodo. So anytime people from the community go mainstream, that's like, hey,
that's huge.
You've done something right. So sorry, congrats though, Kill Cutter Photo. I'm sure that's a lot better than getting on this Star Wars Time Show top 5. I'll tell you that for free.
But hey. But I mean, this shot with shots like this, I can see why he would get picked up by big sites. I mean, what we see is this is probably the best shot of Phoenix Squadron that I've ever seen. If I'm going to be honest, it could be on a poster
like, "Hey, we kick ass and take names. Join Phoenix Squadron." Like, I want you, like Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I mean, so we see the full Phoenix Squadron in formation. You have Kanan and Ezra with lightsabers ignited. Everybody else in battle poses. And then this massive explosion in the background where you can see like stormtroopers getting fucking roasted. And I don't know, man, like the setup and the post in this shot was so well done that like it immediately, as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit.
It stands out a little bit. It stands out.
Yeah, it's a little bit for sure.
I mean, honestly, Kill Cutter, since coming back as Kill Cutter Photo, has been on like next level creations, because remember he started as Kill Cutter and I think someone jacked it. But yeah, I mean, look, and we featured some. I mean, look at the one with Luke and the Abominable Snowman. I mean, wonderful.
That one was
wonderful.
So good.
Mashup.
You featured that as well. I almost put that up there.
Darth Maul at the bottom of the pit. I mean, the Boba Fett on the corpses mountain. It just. E.T. with a lightsaber. I mean, I'm telling you, I like the way this guy thinks and can clearly execute with practical and then that fantastic digital skill that he also has here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful work all around. At Kill Cutter _, or not _ at Kill Cutter Photo on Instagram. This shot, and then like Matt said, the ones that he kind of rattled off,
just
all
kick-ass stuff.
We're coming towards the end. We got 3 left in the top 10 to welcome us in 2022, and the next one on that list is Kenobi 1 TO. So KENOB #1 TO, and this shot here is just fantastic. General Grievous at his fucking, most vicious. He's basically on a battlefield cutting through
foot choke.
Clone troopers, and yeah, exactly. He's got his foot on the neck of a clone trooper on the ground as you see B1s in the background walking past him. B1s on hover or on like the CIS speeder bikes flying past his head, and then just this background is incredible. This is probably put in post, but this is awesome mountainous region.
This is a full composite, dude. The only thing that was shot are Grievous and the Stormtrooper.
I mean, that is some incredible.
Everything else was brought in through compositing. Yep. Yeah, now, to me, it's a mean looking, like Grievous is kind of a mean looking character, anyways. But this is a mean looking Grievous right here. I mean, like I said, he's got the foot choke going on. He's probably talking some shit, and then he's just gonna stab the guy right in the head. And he gets shit done. That's why they call him the General.
It's awesome. Awesome shit here from at Kenobi 1 TO. So make sure to go give them a follow. Kenobi 1 TO has made it into the top 5 multiple times, and his account needs to get a lot more love. It seems like he posts, he's been posting two in a row.
He's fired up a bit, but it kind of has taken a break. I mean, similar to what I've gone through, and I can tell you right now, in these days in IG, if you treat your account like I've been treating, it's a dead account. Like, it's dead. I mean, my account has lost, I think I'm at like 130 followers have dropped since I stopped posting on a regular weekly basis. I'm assuming those are mostly bots because, I mean, if you have enough time,
people don't really go through and unfollow.
That's what I was going to say. If you have enough time to like go through and be like, oh, Haywood Pop hasn't posted in a month, fuck him, unfollow. I question if you're using your time wisely in life. Like, if you have enough time to do that shit, you could maybe like invent the next great technology that takes humanity into the stars. All right. So I think it's mostly bots, but Haywood Pop's dead. It's fucking dead. Like, it's just dead. It's just rotting away. And if I share something and don't share something again the next day, the post just dies. You really have to be active daily on Instagram, post daily, or at least multiple times a week to really get it to juice these days. So you're right. Yeah. I mean, Ken should have way more of a following, but I'm sure the account's buried because the IG algo gods don't see it as being highly active.
So sad. So sad. But hey, we're shouting them out. Go give them a follow.
That's right.
Good shit. Next up in the top 10, we have Guillaume.gh4. So this is GUILLAUME.gh4. And it's just a clean, awesome Vader shot. Sometimes that's all you need is just a clean Vader shot, and that's what we have from Guillaume. And it's Vader. He's on a battlefield, flanked by two stormtroopers in the background, but he's just got this awesome kind of like, one leg up pose, saber ignited, awesome background that's got some blur to it, and it just captures the essence of like almost like a regal style Darth Vader, where he's like standing above a battlefield that he's just conquered. It's
a Vader hero pose, if that makes sense. Like, it's very appropriate for Vader. You know, Vader wouldn't be sitting there like with his hands up, like, yeah, I just fucked all you up. No, he's as stoic as it gets, even when he, lays down severe amounts of chaos and death. He's still very chill, monotone. I hate myself. I hate my life. I killed my wife. Like that's all that's going around in his head until his son snaps him the fuck out of it.
Very true. Very true. So awesome shot there at Guillaume.gh4 on the IG. And to close out the top 10 to kick off 2022, we have at Press Pause Photography.
The Boba Fett that could actually fight.
I know, yeah. This is like, he saw episode 1 of Book, and he was like, you know what? I need to take a shot where Boba Fett's actually kicking some ass. So what we actually have here is the Nomad Fett shot. You can still see Din in the background. You see Fennec in the background.
It's like
this
a Tython moment.
From their fight on Tython. Yeah, exactly. And he's just fucking up stormtroopers with this gaffy stick. He's got the stick in hand. You can already see 2 stormtroopers at his feet, and then he's bringing another one to heal with the gaffy stick.
Yeah, I like. Awesome. Do you see the trooper? Yeah, the trooper's got his hands up, like, please don't hit me.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't cave in my skull.
This is a mistake, but I guarantee you Nomad Fett finishes the job there.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, Press Pause Photography has won, I think in 2021, maybe like the account of the year with his growth and then like what he's been doing with his photography. He's done some really awesome stuff. So, I'm always happy to see a Press Pause shot hitting the top 5 and hitting
that figure actually looks pretty good. That's that new. I think this is an official Black Series Tython Boba, and Press Pause actually makes him look pretty great, but it's not great enough to where I want to buy him. I think 2022 is it. I'll be surprised unless I had something on pre-order. I'll be surprised if I buy Black Series this entire year. If I can pass on Fennec and Boba and shit like from that wave, I think I've broken free. Think is the key word, but so far so good.
Think. yeah, and hey, look, that's the top 10.
Woo!
And that's the end of our show.
All right.
To kick off 2022. So Matt, let's ring in the new year with our send off, with our usual dance.
Okay, well, if you're on the live stream, you can see me shimmying and I am shaking. And I'll tell you what, I did not expect we'd go for 242, but you never know when two Star Wars bros don't talk for a week straight. Sometimes they get diarrhea of the mouth. But hey, here we are. We're at the end. E194, we're about to put to bed. But before we say goodbye, if you are watching right now and you're not subscribed on YouTube, just take care of it right now. It's easy. You look down there, subscribe, click on the little bell so you'll get notifications. I actually have gotten pretty decent at scheduling the streams now, so you at least get a reminder 30 minutes before we go live. But if you don't want to fuck around with that right now, that's all right. Shimmy and shake your beautiful little behinds over to StarWarsTime.net. That is home base on the internet, as well as our at Star Wars Time Show on Instagram. Those are our two main platforms. But over on StarWarsTime.net, again, this is where you can find all the jump-off points to the available platforms. If you prefer the audio-only version of the show, go to StarWarsTime.net. If you prefer the live stream and you're listening to the audio-only version, go to StarWarsTime.net. Scroll down a little bit. There's a handy-dandy subscribe button for the YouTube channel. Or if you prefer doing things manually, just go to your Google machine and search for Star Wars Time Show. I promise you something will pop up. Maybe some negative reviews, maybe something about the crazy guy that's unstable, but you get the point. We're out there, we're on the net. We need more people to fall in line with Star Wars Time, all right? Because there truly is, even for the angry fans, there is always time for Star Wars Time. We're going to have some Star Wars Time tomorrow morning when everyone gets up or stays up to watch the Book of Boba Fett S1E1. So another reason to get in the know with a Star Wars Time show through StarWarsTime.net, because my breakdown is going to go there first. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you're interested to hear what I think or what the show thinks of the Book of Boba Fett Episode 2, YouTube, sub, get it done. The video will be out tomorrow before 9:30 in the morning, because I'm crazy, all right? But there really is. For me, it's no big deal, because I know there's always time for Star Wars Time. For you all, we just need you to get down with that mantra. Say it. Repeat it. There's always time for Star Wars Time. There's always time for Star Wars Time. There's always time for Star Wars Time. Hoorah, hoorah. There's always time for Star Wars Time. Hoorah. All right, let's go to bed. Let's go. It's time to put this show to bed. There's a few coughs for you, maybe a burp. There you go. Bonus. See, this is like our stinger. If you've watched our whole movie, now you're getting all the bonus content of me singing like an asshole, burping, and getting ready to have a coughing fit. So just remind those holdouts, if they do choose to listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with them always.